Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi out here, and it's Saturday morning. We're Saturday Share the Love Club. Today, we are honoring the only number one draft pick in the history of the Toronto Raptors NBA franchise, Andrea Bargnani. And what an apropos day. Isaac Campbell, thank you. Happy World Basketball Day to everybody out there. Thank you, benevolent Isaac Campbell, for letting me know. I knew it was coming up. People were talking about it a lot. And well, might as well celebrate a world basketball player in Andrea Bargnani on World Basketball Day. Yeah, yeah. Why not? I'm still in this whole cause to change the way that Raptors fans and other people remember Bargnani. I feel like so many people get it wrong when they think about Andrea Bargnani. They think he's a bust. They think he was a bad NBA player. They think that he was a waste. They think that he was a bad draft pick. They all kinds of stuff that is just not simply true. If you really think about it, he was actually very, very successful. It's just that the teams he was on were not successful, and that he actually has really good stats and accolades in his career. If you really go and dig deep and look at it, casual fans can just say, "Oh, it's Bargnani. He wasn't like LeBron. He wasn't like other top players that were picked at number one. That's why he's a bust." But can it be, Raptors fan, that there's a spectrum of LeBron and Shaq all the way down to, I don't know, Michael Olowokandi, and that in somewhere in there, Bargnani is actually on the end of the scale that's going towards LeBron and Shaq and away from a complete and total bust of a player that maybe didn't even hardly play in the league, like an Anthony Bennett? That's what I'm saying, y'all. There's a scale to this. And on the success scale, sometimes the best way to gauge it is how long did they have an NBA career for? Did they flame out within the first 5 years and exited even though they were a very high draft pick? Or did they get like a 10-year career, which is what Bargnani got? So I think that people are just, once again, I said this before, I feel like people confuse Bargnani with Rafa Arujo and Alex Radojevic. That these guys, these guys weren't the number one pick. They were first round picks, but they were busts, absolute busts. Guys that showed up and could not play in the NBA correctly and hang with it and stick around and continue to have a job. That is not Bargnani, y'all. That is something I want to make very, very clear to any fans that have this misconception that Andrea Bargnani was a bad NBA player. This is just not true. This is just not true. His career scoring average is double digits. That, do you understand how hard that is to do in the league? To have a career scoring average in double digits, just making the league is hard enough, but then being in the league for 10 years and averaging over 10 points per game for your whole entire career, that is not easy, everybody. Y'all, seriously, we need to give him respect. Let me go look at some stuff about him real quick. Of course, Bargnani is 39 years old. He still isn't even 40 yet. And of course, he was born in Rome, Italy. That's right. He was ahead of his time. He was drafted by the Raptors because he had likenesses to a German player named Dirk Nowitzki. And Brian Colangelo thought that it would be nice to have that type of player on our team, which was true. I thought it was a really smart draft pick, honestly, even if it was kind of influenced by the, at that time, assistant GM Mauricio Gardini. But still, Bargnani had a really good resume. In fact, Bargnani had came and played the Raptors in 2003 before he was drafted by us on an Italian team that he was on at that time. So he actually came to Canada and played against the Raptors like 4 years before he actually got drafted by us. He was a lot younger then, by the way. Yeah, he was. But yeah, the guy was ahead of his time. As many people have said that Bargnani could have been something really huge this era of basketball right now with the overimportance of the three-point shot, because that was really one of his biggest strengths, was that he was a 7-foot guy that could nail threes. And I mean, doesn't that sound appealing, current Raptors fans, current NBA fans, to have a 7-foot guy that hit threes? Yeah. So I mean, I think the closest thing to him in some ways, but not as good as him. Let me preface this, is Danilo Gallinari. Obviously, they're both Italians. They're both similar size, and they both have very good three-point shots. The Gallinari, in some ways, has not had the success that Bargnani had. So how do people feel about Gallinari? You know what? Bargnani was better than him. That's what people need to realize. He won all kinds of accolades while he was over there. He was a EuroLeague rising star in 2006. He was an Italian League champion in 2006. He was a two-time Italian Cup winner, 2004 and 2005. He was Italian League best player under 22 in 2006 also. This guy had all the accolades. Why would it be a stretch to pick him at number one that year when he had tons and tons of winning and accolades over in Italy right that year just before we drafted him? I mean, seriously. His career statistics, he averaged 14 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, and 1.2 assists per game. Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big, big deal. He was the first European player selected first overall in the draft, the sixth non-American player, the second player without U.S. college or high school experience to be drafted overall. And that was the only other person that did that before him was Yao Ming. Yao Ming got drafted without any U.S. high school or college, and Bargnani was second. And he was the second first-round pick to ever get that. That's right. I mean, listen, he may have had deficits in his game defensively. In some ways, he wasn't as strong as a big as you needed back then, you know? And the problem was, in some ways, Colangelo built a team with him and Bosch that really didn't have powerful big men. They were very finesse big men. And in some ways, we needed a physical big man between the two of them because they were the center and the power forward. And in some ways, they shied away from contact, both of them. Now, is that a knock on Bargnani? Is it a knock on Bosch? Maybe, because both of them were centers and forwards, and they did not want contact. They really were kind of finesse guys that really kind of tried to do things from the outside with shooting. You know, Bosch wasn't getting in there and mixing it up too much, you know, and that hurt the Raptors during that era because we didn't have a big man presence down low, and our two best players were big men, but they weren't that type of big men. And in fact, that was a big Achilles heel for our team. And in some ways, that's the GM's team building that was kind of wrong. And maybe that's why people get down on Bargnani, because we didn't have any defensive presence with him and Bosch as a combo out there on the court in the front court. That's fair. That's fair to say. Of course, I talked about Jose Calderon last week on the Saturday Share Love Club. He was his teammate for most of the time that he was on this team. Yeah, Bargnani won Rookies of the Month, y'all, in his rookie year. It's not like this dude came in and he took a time to contribute. He contributed right away and won the Rookie of the Month in in January of 2007. So, you know, and he is crazy because his teammate Garboza won the Rookie of the month before him, you know? So we had these two European guys come in and they were both rookies, one from Spain, one from Italy, and they were getting Rookies of the Month for the Raptors. That's pretty impressive. Think about that right there. That's not Rookie of the Week. That's Rookie of the Month. Jorge Garboza, of course, showing off his Rookie of the Month trophy on the recent Open Gym episode. Well, Bargnani has one too, and he got it in January right after he got his. That's right. So, yeah, it's very, very interesting. And he actually won the Rookie of the Month award again later in the season. He won it twice that year. And he was on the all-rookie team at the end of the year also. He won February's Rookie of the Month also. And he was on the first team, all-rookie team. Now, how is that a bust? If Bargnani was the first pick and he managed to make all-rookie first team in his first year, that's not a bust to me. That means maybe there were four other guys that were either just as good or just a little bit better than him in his rookie class, if he was in the top 5 on the first team, all-rookie team in his rookie year. I mean, seriously, think about this, Raptors fans. Think about this. And, you know, part of it is, once again, I'll say this. We're conditioned to diss and neg our own team by the media, by the NBA, by other fans of other teams. And they wanted to make Andrea Bargnani a joke. They wanted to talk trash about him. And Raptors fans didn't have as much pride around that time in the late 2000s. We hadn't got Lowry and DeRozan in yet to show that we matter and that we should have a team pride around our organization. And in some ways, that's part of why the reputation of Bargnani is sullied, is because everybody's filled in the gaps. and said, "Oh, look, what is this? The Raptors are drafting an Italian guy at number 1 in the draft. This is crazy. What is this silly? This is stupid." And like, well, it actually worked out. He was actually pretty good, but nobody wants to say that because it was the Raptors, and even our own media would treat him as a joke, and that wasn't even fair to him. Honestly, that was never fair to Bargnani, because you know what? The guy didn't do anything wrong. The guy played basketball in Italy. He got drafted by the Raptors number 1 in the NBA draft, and he came and did his job, y'all. He came and he said in that Open Gym episode, he fell in love with Toronto when he came here. When he came to Toronto, he loved this city. In fact, he said that he was more at home in Toronto than being in Italy. That there was enough Italy in Toronto that he was like, yeah, this is enough Italy, because we go to Little Italy. There were a lot of Italian people in Toronto, very, very proud Italian community in Toronto, and they made him feel at home. And in some ways, maybe some of this pressure and the things about being in Rome were hard on him for certain reasons. And coming to Toronto and being a little bit more anonymous, but also being in the NBA and living that NBA lifestyle, he loved it. He said that his happiest time in his life has been in his years in Toronto, and that he still, to this day, spends time here on the regular, that he comes back to Toronto all the time, and it's like his second home. How can you hate this, Raptors fans? In some ways, Bargnani was never very good in media. He didn't want to talk to the press. In fact, back then, I remember he barely ever did interviews. Like if there were after-game interviews, if he came in, he was very short-spoken, and he was out pretty quick because he's just a shy guy. In some ways, once again, English is not his first language. Italian is. And speaking English was awkward for him at times, especially early when he came in. And, he would avoid media, to be honest. He would avoid media. You get Bosch to go and do it. Go get Bosch to talk to him, or maybe Jose. Jose's smiley, and he doesn't mind talking to people. He'll go talk to the press. But Bargnani was a little bit of an enigma. We didn't really know him. And as I said, when people don't know people, they fill in the gaps, and they want to make in whatever they think about him. But you know what? He never got a fair shake, honestly. He was a butt of the joke way too often, and I feel like that's wrong. Raptors fans, we have respect for our team now since 2010, 2007, 2012. Why can't we honor Bargnani the right way now? As a great classic part of our history in our 30 years, as a proud number 1 pick. I'm proud that the Raptors got the chance, the privilege to pick the number 1 draft pick 1 year in the NBA draft in one of the years of the 30 years we've been in this league. And I'm proud that it's Andrea Bargnani. I don't care. You guys can go and look at the rest of the draft and see who's picked after him and say, oh, well, we should have picked this guy. Oh, we should have picked this guy. Coulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda. We did what we did. And you may think we didn't hit the mark on that pick, but I do. I feel like we did. We could have done better, sure. But we did good. We got one of the better players in that draft at that time. And people would be like, you're crazy, Lex. What did he do? He never won a championship. He never did this. He never did that. I'm just saying, y'all need to understand the NBA. To do things like LeBron is extraordinary. To do things as an all-star is extraordinary. To be a starter in the league and have an NBA career for 10 years is extraordinary. It all is on a certain scale, because it's not done very often by a lot of people. That's just what I'm saying there. Yeah, this guy, he was an Italian player, the best player under 22. He has a lot of accolades, a lot more than you guys give him credit for. A lot more than people give him credit for. When he was on the Raptors, he played 433 games for us. That he was here for 7 years. And, he was always loyal and dedicated to us. In fact, when Masai traded him to New York, it broke his heart. It did. In some ways, what Masai did to Bargnani was just like what he did to DeRozan. That Bargnani was a real one, like DeMar. He wanted to be a Raptor for his whole life. He said that on the Open Gym. He said, I never ever wanted to leave Toronto. I was upset when I had to leave and go to New York. And if I had my way, I would have figured out a way to be in Toronto for my whole career. Yeah, that's just how it goes. In some ways, at that point, Masai had come in and he was trying to change the regime, trying to make his own imprint on the franchise. And he was doing a lot of moves, whether it's Rudy Gay, whether it's Bargnani. I thought that at that time, because Bargnani had such a crazy contract, And in some ways, people already, like I was saying, there was a lot of negativity about his name, a lot of dumb stuff, dragged him through the mud, which just wasn't fair. That it was amazing that Masai Ujiri was able to trade Bargnani to the Knicks in that year in 2013. That was amazing to me, honestly, because a lot of people said that with the contract that Andrea had, he was impossible to move. So when that came in and that happened very early on in the Ujiri tenure, I was shocked. I was like, man, this Masai guy is good because he was able to move a commodity, a player on our roster that a lot of experts and people in the NBA were saying that he could not be moved. So, there's a lot to Bargnani. Of course, he played 2 years in the Knicks and then 1 year on the Nets after he left us, but it never was the same. Never was the same. I mean, this guy shot 83% from the free throw line while he was a Raptor. He shot 49% from wait, hang on. No, he shot 36% from three and 44% from the field goal range overall. This guy actually got good blocks too. A lot of people don't remember that about him. He averaged about a block a game for the Raptors, and that's pretty damn good. In fact, it was fun to see Andrea block some shots sometimes. In some ways, that's the kind of defender he was. There's a lot of parallels between him and Chris Boucher, except maybe he's not as quick as Chris Boucher up and down the court, but he could block shots and he could hit threes, and he was a 7-foot guy. I just want to get on a good standing for Andrea Bargnani and telling Raptors fans, let's respect him in hindsight at this point. The career high for Andrea was 41 points. He scored a 41-point game at one point, and that was on the Raptors, y'all. So, yeah, people need to remember this guy better is what I'm trying to tell people right now. I want to share the love for him by speaking best about his name and propping him back up to be an honored alumni in Raptors history. And Raptors fans, you got to stop making him a butt of the joke because honestly, he doesn't deserve it. He was a dutiful, honored player for us. And I think that people need to really get on board with me on that. Because seriously, I hear people just willy-nilly throw jokes out there and they go, this is Bargnani, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, what prima pasta, ha, ha. Yeah, that's stupid. Just seriously, get with it. In some ways, I may judge you on how much you know about basketball, about your opinion on Andrea Bargnani. Seriously. If you tell me, Bargnani was horrible, oh my gosh, I'm like, man, this guy doesn't know anything about the NBA, obviously. I will think that about you. I'll judge you in that way. I'll do it silently. I won't even tell you that I'm saying, oh, man, this guy, all right, I'm not going to listen to this guy anymore because he doesn't know what he's talking about because of what he thinks about Andrea Bargnani. Seriously. In Andrea's career, he made $73.5 million. $73.5 million. That guy is all right, I would think, with the good investments and not losing his money in bad deals or something like that, that I'm sure he's still a very wealthy man to this day. And that it's easy for him to split his time between the continent of Europe and North America to come back and forth and visit his Canadian home and go back to his regular home back in Italy. So, yeah, this guy is very successful. I don't understand why people think he's a punk or a softie or anything like that. I don't think he was a softie. In fact, there were games I remember watching Bargnani where he took a lot of physicality from stronger, bigger players that play in the same position as him, like getting hit in the face, getting smacked around, pushed around, and he just took it and he kept fighting and he kept trying himself. How can you get mad at that? When you got a guy who may be a little bit undersized in the fight and he's still trying to battle and do his best. I mean, honestly, he could have, if he had gotten more muscle on him, he could have done better. But the trade-off is part of what he did was the finesse with himself on offense. How much would he sacrifice that if he bulked up too much? I don't know. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Andrea Bargnani's career is exactly what it was supposed to be, even if it's not as exciting or accolade-full as a lot of people think it should be, or whatever they think that a good career is. We go and look at his teammates, the teammates that he played with the most in his career. Jose Calderon, number 1. Chris Bosh, number 2. Anthony Parker, Amir Johnson, DeMar DeRozan, number 5. Rasho Nesterovic, Joey Graham, Jason Campono, Chris Humphreys, Jamario Moon, Jarrett Jack, Sonny Weems, TJ Ford, Ed Davis, Carlos Delfino, Hidu Turkoglu, Roko Jukic. Yeah. Jorge Garbosa, Linus Kleza. Yeah. A lot of European players playing with him. And that era of the Raptors, yeah, you heard the names Jamario Moon and Sonny Weems in there. That's right. That's when he played. And the player that he played the most against as an opponent in his entire career was, let's see, Vince Carter. He played Vince Carter against him 28 games. And yeah, he lost to him. He was 12-16 was the win-loss with that. Dwight Howard second. Yeah, I mean, I just want to say some good things on the name of Andrea Bargnani on this snowy Saturday morning here in the 416. So yeah, honor Bargnani, y'all. Don't diss him. And especially since this open gym's come out, and understanding his devotion and his love for the city of Toronto and the Raptors, dude, there's nothing to be hating him for. Seriously, there is nothing. And people that hate on Bargnani, you just got to stop. I'm sorry. I decree this on this day, December 21st, 2024, that Andrea Bargnani will not be put down by his own fans in the Raptors nation any longer. Because seriously, why? Why you do that? You disrespect this team that we root for when you do that. Because honestly, he's not a blemish. He's not somebody that y'all should make fun of, is what I'm trying to say. All right, let's go see what everybody else is saying this morning. Let's see what's up. Trevor J, forgive yourself for not knowing then what you know now. You weren't supposed to know, you were supposed to learn. Wow, that's deep. Yeah, you know, man, knowing things can be a blessing and a curse. It sucks. Sometimes if you're aware of a lot, you know, you can be very downtrodden with the troubles of the world. And yeah, in some ways there's stuff that can be hidden from you. People are doing shady shit behind the scenes, and it is revealed to you later, and you learn about it later. That sucks, man. Yeah, you can't be mad at yourself for not knowing what you didn't know. You got to forgive yourself. Thank you, Trevor J, for the words of wisdom this morning. Commissioner J, Commissioner of Fun, my reliable guy who's here every day pretty much. Trevor telling me yesterday he's going to be going to New York to watch the Knicks play against the Raptors on Monday night. So he will be in the arena at Madison Square Garden, taking in the game live as a representative of the RFF. Thank you, Trevor, for going to New York this week and checking this out. All right, let's see what else Trevor's saying. Somebody's going to put their hands on one of those referees. Celtics. Head coach wanted to fight. He and Brown got technicals, and he said, F you, come here, F you. He ran on the court. I saw your comment earlier, and I was like, okay, I can investigate what happened. And I read the article on ESPN about what happened. It was Justin Van Dyne, the former cop of California, that was the referee in the incident. They were playing the Bulls last night. The Boston Celtics were playing the Bulls in Boston, and the Chicago Bulls are kicking the Celtics' ass. This made me feel a little bit better about Monday night, because you know what? Honestly, the Bulls are underrated. I really thought when we played them on Monday, when we were going in, I thought they would be pushovers. They'd be worse than last year, but they're absolutely better than they were last year. And apparently they jumped all over the Celtics last night and kicked their ass. Now, this is what happened, and Tony Brothers said it in the pool report after the game, that the reason why Joe Mazzulla got his technical is because he left the coach's box. This is something that's very important in the NBA, and sometimes refs don't call it, or they let coaches get away with stuff. But really, this is a big rule. You know, the refs have been calling very important rules, like the Claxton tossing the ball into the arena the other night in our Nets game. You know, that is a very important rule, and everybody knows that rule. You're not supposed to fling the ball or kick the ball into the crowd because, first of all, it takes a while to get the ball back from the audience. And then second of all, you could actually hit somebody in the face with the ball, and the NBA don't want no lawsuit because a player threw something at them from the court. Well, the referees also look out now for the bench coming off the bench and getting on the court and running around and doing stuff. We've seen technicals on the bench for leaving the bench and coming out on the court in celebrations. Well, this is a similar thing. The coach's box is very much that sideline from their team's bench all the way down to the mid-court line, and they're not supposed to go over that mid-court line. In fact, if you see a coach jump over on the other side, half of the court from their side that their bench is on, they are in violation. If they come out on the court, they're in violation if things are active and play in certain ways. Now, Darko comes on the court for timeouts often. He'll walk out to show that, yes, I've called the timeout. Everybody come in. It's just part of his motions that he does regularly. But there's a time and a place to come out on the court. And what happened was Joe Mazzulla came out on the court when he wasn't supposed to, and he got a technical. People got upset. People did not understand why he got a technical because they were just like, in the moment. And they thought he just got a technical for no reason. But it was very, very much because of where he put his feet at that time. Jaylen Brown came over to Justin Van Dyne and said, well, why'd you call a technical on my coach? And got all mad and yelling at him. And they kept going at him, Justin Van Dyne and Tony Brothers. And, well, they decided because Jaylen Brown had been needling them and been questioning the integrity of their refereeing that they gave him a tech also. And then they just melted down. And they were getting really mad. And Jaylen Brown said some stuff about, well, I can't make motions. I can't talk to y'all. You can't do anything with y'all, and you're just going to call techs. I think this is just a manifestation of the Celtics losing to the Bulls on their home court is what that is, honestly. The refs did their job, and the Celtics need to shut the fuck up and stop being whiny little bitches. Joe Mazzulla, you're going to break the rules. You know what? You got to do the crime because the time. And that's what I'm saying. You get a technical for that. You know this. And y'all are the current champs. And just because you're current champs doesn't mean you should get special treatment and look the other way on any kind of stuff that you're doing. So I applaud Justin Van Dyne and Tony Brothers for calling the game the way they called it last night because they're upholding the NBA rules and they're not showing any favoritism for the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics get all whiny and cry if they don't get red carpets rolled out for them and all the favoritism and all the different ways from the NBA. So when they actually have some stuff against them, well, they turn into whiny little bitches is what I seen that happened there. All respect to Jaylen Brown and the things that he does outside the NBA. But yeah, that's what this is right here, Trevor. They're getting their ass kicked by Chicago at home. The refs called them on a couple texts, and they got all pissy. And that's all it is. They go ahead and try and fight Justin Van Dyne. He's trained as a cop. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. He's a smaller guy, but trust me, he's trained as a cop in California. He was a cop for like 5 years or something like that. So, yeah, don't try and fight him. And Tony Brothers, you want to try and mess with Tony Brothers? No, you don't. No, you don't, Joe Mazzulla. You're not a big dude, honestly. You may act like you're tough, and you may have been involved in some shady shit in college with some crazy fight or something like that or some sort of sexual assault or something like that. But, nah, don't get it twisted. You don't need to be fighting anybody like them. Seriously. Seriously, you don't. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Last weekend before Christmas. I know it's coming quick. I have to finish my song for y'all for Christmas. And yeah, I got to get on a plane today. I'm not feeling like I hate it. I hate traveling. And I'll just go ahead and get it out of the way today. And tomorrow morning, y'all will see me in a different location because I will be in the United States. But yeah, I don't really want to go. But I'm going. I will be there. That's right. Kaz is here. Good morning to Trucker Kaz. It's Saturday, so he's off the road again. Just can't wait to get off the road again and sit at home on the weekend with my friends. I just can't wait to get off the road again. That's right, Kaz. There you go. Good morning, y'all. Good morning to you, sir. 10-4. That's right. Monique is here. The super fan, Monique Lawrence. Good morning to you, ma'am. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. How were you on draft day for Andrea? I was a mixed bag. This is great. And I love this about Mo because she's such a day oneer that she really can go back in the time machine and think about what she felt there. And with all the retro nights and the different things and the remember the 30th anniversary, this is exactly the year to go back in the time machine, Mr. Peabody, and think about this. That's right. Yeah, Mo, I love this. I remember that I was a little disappointed too when the name was called because, I actually remember also that there was a lot of hype that they were probably going to take him because there was a lot. It wasn't like it was a big surprise partly because of Garradini. And that there were a little bit of clues and tips that the Raptors were very interested in getting Bargnani at number 1. So it wasn't a total blindside to me that they drafted him. But when they did actually do it, my first initial reaction was because I was hearing all the NBA chatter about it. They were kind of like, what? And they were kind of like, this is a weird pick by the Raptors up here because there's all these American players they could pick instead. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cool. I had no problem with it, but a lot of people did, and it was weird. It's kind of like whenever the Raptors make a draft pick sometimes, and it's a name like Pascal Siakam or Bruno Caboclo or something like that. The people are saying who and what, and they're always kind of like what. It was a little bit like that, but because it was the number one pick, it was so forefront and in front of everybody. And of course, we know every year when the number one pick come around, like Victor Wembanyama stuff, there's a lot of hype and a lot of talking about who will be the number one pick every draft, right? And projecting this. So there were people that were projecting us to take Bargnani. It wasn't a total surprise. And we were kind of already letting people know that we were going to go get him. To me, I had no problem with the pick. I didn't groan or make a weird reaction like some people did. But, at the same time, I did hear all the noise of people being kind of like, why did they pick this guy? And what is this? And stuff like that. Yeah, you remember those days, Mo. I know you do. You were a mixed bag about it. Okay. Okay. G saying, not sure if you talked about this, but the Raptors are now the 10th most valuable franchise in the NBA. Yeah, the number rose. Like this year is crazy because we're in a rebuild and we haven't won a lot this year at all. But the value of our franchise went up like $500,000 or something like that. It's crazy. The value of the franchise is like 4.5 billion or something at this point, and it's only gone up. It has not gone down. It's been going up pretty steadily through the 2010s, honestly, up until now. And yeah, this is pretty awesome. This is pretty awesome. This is a testament to this great market here in Canada, and also a testament to the value of the brand that's been built up by MLSE and the Raptors franchise. So yeah, this is great. I think I don't know where we were on the ranks with the rest of the NBA. If we went up or down, we probably went up a spot or so. I don't remember, but yeah, this is fantastic stuff. And our franchise is growing and getting better. That's what this symbolizes. That it's going up in value. The fan base is growing. The interest is growing to a degree. And even with rebuild and a lot of losses and kind of a weird injured year in 2024, it's gone up still. That's a real testament that the brand is strong, even if the team isn't. Even if the team isn't. Yeah, Nako's saying Bargnani looks like he had good footwork for his size based on the height he is. It's ironic that Lowry was from the same draft, but I think I can see the vision with Bargnani. Yeah, I mean, let's think about this, Gerald. If you see Kyle Lowry coming out of Villanova and his body size, you got to understand at that time, Kyle was not toned in any kind of way. Kyle really was like a little Oliver Miller. He had a very much a pot belly. He was a little tank. And in some ways, he was out of shape, and he wasn't like the player he was when he won the championship with us in 2019. I mean, you can do hindsight and say, oh, if you look at this person's career and this person's career, I mean, Kyle's still in the league, right? You can't do that because in some ways, prospects are weird. They all have their own track for they're going to go on their professional career and their length of their career and their heights and lows and stuff like that. I mean, it's sound logic Colangelo had, because there was a 7-footer in Dallas named Dirk that was absolutely kicking ass and getting championship and doing all kinds of stuff. In some ways, that was the person that heavily influenced them to take Bargnani, was Dirk Nowitzki. Because you saw very much the same similarities, same height, same kind of skill set, but not the same player, obviously. Dirk was another whole other level. But Bargnani, like I said in the past, he is the closest to Dirk Nowitzki than a lot of people that were in the league around that time. So God forbid Brian Colangelo tries to get the Toronto Raptors their own Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, that's really what it was there. His footwork was amazing. Nako, he was this very, very smart, gifted offensive player. If he had defensive deficiencies, he didn't have them on the offensive side because he had very, very good footwork, and he was very good at fakes, and he was very good at getting a quick shot off around the three-point line, and he was very accurate too. So, I mean, there was a lot about him that was very positive and good. It's just people want to remember Primo Pasta and dunk his name as some sort of like a funny joke. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, hindsight's 2020. I mean, we could go look at that draft and like really analyze it and, try and say, well, this is who the Raptors should have picked instead of him and this, But, in some ways, it's not fair to him. I mean, all right, LaMarcus Aldridge was a second pick. LaMarcus Aldridge may have been the safer big defensive pick because he came in with big, huge muscles already. But LaMarcus also had an injury-marred career. He was injured a lot of his career. And well, I don't know if he ever got anywhere with certain things. Adam Morrison was an absolute bust. Now, there's a good example right there. Adam Morrison was picked third by Charlotte from Gonzaga, and the guy was in the league for like 3 years. Now, if you told me Adam Morrison was a bust, I would say yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's just 2 picks after Bargnani. And you're going to say Bargnani was a bad pick when you have Adam Morrison 2 picks after him? I'm sorry. Tyrus Thomas, another bust. Another guy that barely did anything in the league, and he was picked number 4. This was not a very good draft. You guys got to remember this. Much like this year with Atlanta being the number 1 pick, the Raptors got the number 1 pick in a weak draft class. And that's very dangerous. Sheldon Williams at 5. Sheldon Williams was a steady forward, a long career, but in some ways not very flashy. You know, a top 5 pick in the draft. Some people would say Sheldon Williams was a wasted top 5 pick with that kind of mentality. Brandon Roy. Now, he's one that a lot of people said that he should have been the one that was picked first. And that's partly because of his great excellence for the Trailblazers early in his career. But once again, just like Aldridge, he was marred with injuries and never, ever became the full potential of what he could become. So in hindsight, you could say the Raptors should have picked Brandon Roy over Andrea Bargnani, but you don't know. Did you know that Brandon Roy was going to get hurt and have to end his career prematurely? No, you didn't know that. And that's what I'm saying. This is all a crapshoot. Picking players in the draft is just luck in some ways, because some ways the health will dictate whether you get your value from that draft pick. I mean, seriously, would you have rather had 5 years of really, really good Brandon Roy or 10 years of steady Andrea Bargnani? I don't know. Everybody's different on that one. Randy Foye, bust. Rudy Gay. All right, we know about Rudy Gay. He had a long, long career, but in some ways, you know, I mean, you can't really say, all right, would you have picked Rudy Gay at 1 over Bargnani? Maybe. I don't know. Patrick O'Bryant, number 9, and Muhammad Sene, number 10. That's the top 10 in that draft that year. So don't tell me Bargnani was a bad pick. When you see who, like, out of that top 10, 7 of them were really not good picks for that draft. Seriously. JJ Redick at 11. It's crazy. I could keep going further. I mean, there's deep cuts that are absolutely pretty good players down the road, like Thabo Cephalosha, pretty good player at some point. But when you look down, okay, Rajon Rondo at 21, that was pretty good. Lowry at 24. Yeah, those were both pretty good picks right there. But otherwise, I mean, most of these names are really bad, guys. Really, really bad. There's PJ Tucker at 35. Really, really bad. The best player down near the bottom, maybe Boobie Gibson. Paul Millsap at 47. That is pretty damn good right there, actually. That's really good value by Utah. And let's see if there's one more name near the bottom. No, the rest of the draft is pretty much all no-name guys that didn't do hardly anything with their careers at all. So that draft, there was maybe 7 players that had pretty good NBA careers, and our guy was one of them, just so y'all know. So, yeah, I just went over the 2006 draft, and really, Brandon Roy, Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker, JJ Redick, Paul Millsap, but the rest of them all scrubs that probably didn't do hardly anything with their careers. And that's just the truth. That's just the truth right there. That's it right there. Monique's saying episode 6 of hang on, it jumped. Of Bringing Home the W is officially out. I didn't watch it yet, but I'll watch it after the stream before I go to the airport. Yeah, I want to watch it. It's the last episode, and it's about the leak, and it'll go into more detail about the scramble that Teresa Resch and the team had to go into once the WNBA main website leaked their name and the public found out what it was. You know, I was thinking more about this leak, how it probably happened. You know, they have to be in correspondence with the WNBA head office with submitting the name and the ideas for the logo. And it could very well be that there are a lot of people that are keeping it under wraps. But then somebody probably found out about it and like they wanted to add them to the website already. And that was the worst way to leak it. Really, really dumb. And in some ways, I think the person that put that on the website was probably thinking, oh, it's just Toronto. Who cares? Or maybe they were just like, oh, they already announced it. Maybe they weren't sure about it. I don't know. I don't know the reasoning and why the WNBA would hurt the Toronto franchise by doing this. It really was like a bad move, because they needed time to get the merchandise ready to really win. You know, and WNBA, y'all need to be run better. Seriously. Y'all are dropping the ball all kinds of different ways this season in an unprecedented attention-grabbing season with Caitlin Clark. Y'all need to have better smarts about what you're doing. And in some ways, like leaking one of your new expansion team's name ahead of their official launch was a big fuck up. And in some ways, y'all need to get tighter with your shit, is basically what I'm saying. So yeah, WNBA, tighten it up. Seriously. Y'all are getting more big time. Maybe you could do this half-ass shit when nobody is watching y'all for 20 years. But people are watching you now. So tighten up your game is what I'm saying to the WNBA right now. Tighten up. Seriously. I'm looking forward to watching that episode and hearing Teresa tell the story. She's such a badass. She's going to roll with the punches. Things aren't exactly ideal or what she wanted. She's going to make the best of it. And that's why she's going to be very successful as the general manager and head of the Toronto Tempo. Right there. Yeah. Monique also bringing up a fantastic little drop yesterday from Jake's Takes. Yeah. Way to go, Jake, on bringing Jamal Shed on your show from Jake's Takes. Great interview. Yeah, I totally agree. Man, Jake, you're awesome. I was wondering, like, Jake's been putting out a lot of content recently with baseball players and hockey players and really not doing basketball stuff very often. So when he had Jamal, when that dropped yesterday, I was so happy. I was like, ooh. And, Jake still doesn't have a lot of subscriptions. It's weird, man. This kid is doing such a good job with his interview channel on YouTube that I'm like, why doesn't he have more views? Why doesn't he have more subscriptions? He gets really quality guests, and he's absolutely fantastic at asking questions and getting good stuff. Well, the interview was fantastic. It was only about 10 minutes with Jamal, and you could tell he did it like yesterday in the morning and released it later in the afternoon. He probably called them on Friday morning after the Nets game because Jake went to the Nets game and talked to Jamal while at the game and got him to agree to do his show. Well, Jamal came on the show, and you could tell Jamal was tired, man. And this really kind of hit home for me after my rant yesterday about the Raptors losing to the Nets. That these guys are worn out. It really is. In some ways, the inexplicable decline and drop off in the fourth quarter against the Nets on Thursday could very well be that the Raptors are hitting the wall right now. It's a weird thing when you get time off after really going crazy with so many games in a row that, this past week has had so many days off. Your body's resting and it gets kind of in a rest mode and you get a little lazy because you're not having to go. It's good for your body to recoup. But it also can make your body feel like it's playing red light, green light, like that kids game when you used to play out in the yard. Red light, green light, and your body is kind of like adjusting. Okay, now it's time to go again because even though you sat for 3 days. I think that was a big problem with this games this week. The NBA on the down low understands biometrics and people's bodies and athletes and how they go up and down. And, man, that's why I think it's so nefarious, the way they make their schedule. The way it's just such a weird, like if it was a song and it had beats, it wouldn't have a regular rhythm. It would be all crazy like acid jazz. It would be all up over the place. Double, back to back here, 3 days off, one game with 5 days. It's crazy. If you can't get a regular routine because the schedule is so fucking crazy all over the place, that's tough on biorhythms and the way our bodies, like to get into a schedule. You feel better when you have a regular schedule every day. I get up at this time. I eat my breakfast at this time. I do this at this time. That's good for people, routine, because your body can anticipate it and be ready for all kinds of stuff. But if they're throwing you all over the map with stuff like that, I think this is what happens. The lackadaisicalness of starting against Chicago on Monday is evidence of this. The fall off and drop off of energy at the end of the Nets game on Thursday is evidence of this. Because Jamal was absolutely tired in that interview with Jake's Takes. He was so tired to the point where it looked like he was miserable. He was so tired. And he couldn't smile. In some ways, it wasn't that he was annoyed with Jake. It wasn't that he was in pain or anything. It's just he was exhausted. And he did this interview. It's so nice of him to give Jake the time in the morning yesterday. And you could tell he's beaten down a little bit. And he said that right from the start. He said, as soon as you start with Jake, I just want you to know I'm really, really tired right now. And that this has been a really long season. And this has been the hardest part of the season because I'm 3 months in and this season's so long and I am not used to playing the frequency that I've been playing in these 3 months. And then my body is just worn out 3 months in. He's hitting a rookie wall is what he was saying yesterday in that interview with Jake. That in some ways a rookie wall has been hit in December just before Christmas with Jamal Shed. Now, some of it may be the bouncing back and forth between 905 and the regular NBA, but it's just the grind, man. This is that lifestyle. In some ways, this is why they get paid the big bucks, because they really do put a lot of physical exertion out there on a regular basis. And after 3 months of doing it regularly, Jamal Shedd's feeling it. It made me feel bad, maybe a little bit, for going off on the team and getting mad at them for dropping the ball in the fourth quarter, because there is good evidence for why. There really is, and it's what I just said. It's the biorhythm thing and having time off and then having to go all of a sudden again with games again. It can be really hard to stop start like that. Of course, Jake had really good questions. He asked him about the future with the Raptors, and talking to Darko sent a message to Jake saying that he believes that the Raptors will be back in championship mode faster than most people think. He promises Jake that. And when he told Jamal that, Jamal said, "Yeah, I can see this too. That we're putting in the work. It's hard, and we want to win more. We're trying to win, but we really do believe in our coach and our teammates, and we're going to strive to get better and better and better." And that he did cite the injuries as a huge reason why the Raptors have not been that successful this year. That he can't wait for us to get everybody together. Now, he did say also that when the guys come back, he understands his role will be like diminished, that he may not play as much when Emmanuel and Bruce and them come back. So, it was a great interview. Bruce was very, very smart. I mean, not Bruce. Jamal was very, very smart and very, very measured with his answers. In fact, Jake was asking a lot of questions about his teammates and how he feels about playing with Grady, how he feels about playing with Scotty, all that kind of stuff. And Jamal was very graceful with all the questions, made the right answers, and was very, very intelligent and astute in everything he said, if not being completely exhausted. So kudos to you, Jamal Shedd, for going on Jake's Takes yesterday. Y'all need to check out that interview. I think it only has like 20 views. So y'all need to go watch it. Nobody's seen it yet. You really want that insider Raptors content, go follow Jake's Takes and understand the Raptor Streak is watching you, Jake. And I'm going to try and get you more of an audience, because I can't believe how few views this Jamal Shedd interview is getting. Maybe it's just because the Raptors been losing. It's crazy. It's crazy. Monique is saying, don't forget to keep voting for our All-Star. Yeah, I've gone and voted the first 2 days already. I'm going to vote again today before I go to the airport. And I'm putting in Scotty Barnes, Grady Dick, RJ Barrett, Oshai Abaji, and Jakob Poeltl. Yeah, I'm putting in those 5 guys, and that's it. I'm not going to the West. I'm just putting in our 5, those 5, and I'm hoping that will help them on a little bit of a drip of votes coming from the Raptor Freak. That's what I'm saying. Scotty, Grady, RJ, Oshai, and Yak is who I'm voting for right now. I'm not voting for you, Emmanuel, because you have not come back and played enough for me to vote for you. Oshai deserves it more in some ways. Yeah. Kareem saying Jacoby Walter is averaging 7.1 points as a rookie. If he can bump that up to like 13 points, he can easily be Rookie of the Year. Castle from San Antonio is averaging, I think, 10. Jacoby will get more minutes. This is an interesting prospect. I don't know. The goals of the team can be different all the time. It's funny to hear Kyle and DeMar talking about how in the year that Lou Williams was on our team, that team really did try and help him get Sixth Man of the Year in all kinds of ways. I mean, I don't know what the team goals are as far as like that kind of stuff with individuals. It very much could be that some of the players, they're trying to get them all-star, like RJ or Scotty. But, I don't know. I don't know what could happen with this. I mean, if Jacoby continues to get better like he has been recently, he could very well grow into this by the end of the year. But that's a tough call. I mean, the other thing is, just like Shedd and I just talked about, that we get healthy and guys are back, Jacoby's minutes are going to get diminished more likely. Then he's going to play more. But yeah, that's a sign of a weak draft class, is that, a guy who's only averaging 10 points is the top runner for Rookie of the Year right now. It's changed since McCain got hurt for Sixers. He was the front runner. It's like early it was Edey. Edey came out and he was really, really good. And everybody's like, oh, Zach Edey's going to be the Rookie of the Year. But then it kind of changed to Jared McCain, because he had a whole bunch of really high-scoring games in a row for the Sixers. But then he got hurt, so now he's out of the picture. And now they're trying to figure out who it is. A lot of the murmurs now are Castle out of San Antonio. But yeah, like you said, he's only averaging 10 points. That's ripe for the picking by anybody. By anybody. In some ways, Jonathan Mobo should be getting more consideration, but they don't look at guys who are stat stuffing that don't make a lot of points. So yeah, Jacoby could do this. Dream is a great idea, But I don't know. Do the Raptors want to try and funnel it to him in that way and try and get that as claim for him? Another thing is that in some ways there's a push for Castle to win because some people really like the idea of a back-to-back rookie of the year for the Spurs. That Victor won it last year, and that in some ways this is something that has not happened very often in the history of the NBA. I don't know if it's ever happened. I don't think it has. So if Castle wins the rookie of the year this year, that'll be like the first time an NBA franchise ever had back-to-back rookie of the years. So that is an interesting aspect of that. So we'll have to see. Nameless is saying, I don't know why you'd ever take an Italian first overall, considering our lack of rich basketball tradition. All right. All right. I'm going to give you a dunk because this is funny. It is making me laugh because Nameless is saying he's being very serious. He personally wouldn't have taken Andrea first, is what he's saying. All right. We got to remember, Nameless, we had a guy named Garadini that was in our team at the time. He was the assistant GM, and in some ways he was kind of maybe going to be our GM next, but it didn't work out that way. I'm going to give you a dunk. You're at 114, 5-pointer. I get it. And you're really just saying this because you self-deprecate on Italian heritage as an Italian guy yourself. Listen, you are wrong about the heritage of basketball in Italy. There is a strong basketball contingency in Italy. People love basketball in Italy. Don't get it twisted. There were a lot of like Italian teams were competing in Euro League and stuff like that before this and before Andrea. And there is a history there. So you're kind of downplaying something that is actually there. So you're saying that there is a basketball tradition, but there is actually a basketball tradition there. Now it's not on the level of maybe Spain or Serbia and stuff like that, but it's still there. Just so you know. I get it. Maybe you wouldn't have picked him, but I mean, who would he have picked otherwise? I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge may have been the safest bet after him. You can't say you would have just taken Brandon Roy blindly because you didn't know. In some ways, I'm just saying. I thought that the pick was strong because, first of all, the other tradition in the NBA that people need to remember, and this has changed in recent years because of the shift away from the big man and the three-point shot, is that most drafts in the history of the NBA have big men go first. That's the thing. You got to remember. It's not like NBA draft people. Often they would be like, all right, getting height is a premium for the NBA. So often at the top of the draft, it would be 7-footers they're looking at, whether it's Shaq back in the day. There's always been like, all right, we want to get a big guy near the top of the draft. And there's a proclivity for that in the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. It's not so much anymore. It's not as important to get the best big like near the top. In some ways, it's the best big's not often the best player in the league these days coming in. So that's part of it. You got to remember that, as much as maybe we could have taken Brandon Roy, there was a proclivity in the NBA to take the best big at the top of this draft. And a 7-foot guy that can shoot the three, well, God forbid we pick that kind of dynamic. Nameless is what I'm saying. You wouldn't have taken him, but Colangelo did, and that's history, and that's what happened. That's what happened. Cool Cat saying the article said that we are top 4 in the NBA. We are a large market, contrary to what trolls claim. Oh yeah, for sure we are. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of conditioning by all kinds of different media about the Raptors that is just downplaying us and negging us. In some ways, there's been a lot of bad publicity for us because of losing, or just because of like us being a Canadian team in the NBA. There's been a lot of that. There's basically that some of the xenophobia manifests in that, and that's part of it right there. Yeah, I love that we are a strong market. We are a very well-run team, and that there was a lot of quality about us. But right now, our performance and where we are is not indicative of who we are as a team and a franchise, and that's annoying to me. And I know that in some ways they've submarined us and given us a really hard route to try and do things right, basically since we won the championship in 2019. And that sucks. But that's the thing. When they make it harder for you, you just go harder and you overcome it. And that's what we're going to do eventually. Watch. That's what we're going to do eventually. Yeah, I'm on that. Yeah. Let's see. Mo's saying, yes, G, I'm beyond happy about this news. Talking about, what did G say up there? Oh, the Raptors value how much they are. Yeah. I mean, in some ways it's money. I don't give a shit about this myself, but it is a good indicator that the team is strong and that we're not in trouble financially and that we will not be going anywhere. That's the best thing about that news to me, is that the Raptors are safe in Toronto and that, you know, the it's being successful financially. So there's no reason for us to lose our team. That's why I like that news. That's why I like it. It's not about, ooh, we're so rich. We have $4 billion valuation. No, I don't give a shit about that. I give a shit about security for our team to stay in Toronto. And that's the one. Memphis Grizzlies. Yeah, we don't want no, Orlando or not, Tampa Raptors. We don't want none shit like that. No, 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 no. Vancouver did not have good financials, and they lost their team. And that's a big thing right there. That's right. That's it right there. Kareem saying Andrea was the right pick. It's just that the NBA faculty wasn't ready, from coaches to players. Primo was ahead of his time. Yeah. Yeah. I think that in some ways the style of the game had not caught up to him. Obviously, the style now, he would be badass. Like, I don't know, where would Bargnani be in this draft coming up, like compared to Cooper Flag and some people? People may be laughing at me, like, oh, Cooper Flag versus Bargnani? You're crazy. Ace Bailey versus Bargnani? Oh, you're crazy. I don't know. I don't know how crazy I am, because in some ways, Bargnani suits today's game more than ever. If you got him at his early age this year in the draft, you know, they may be talking about him like crazy, like Wembanyama right now, if he was coming out of Italy the same way he was in 2006 this year. I'm just saying, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Think about that. Do a brain exercise and think about the prospect of 7-foot Andrea Bargnani coming from the Italian league with all the accolades and what he's done over there this year against this draft class. He could very well still be a top 5 pick, right? Coming in this year. The same thing. Nothing different about him. Everything, just transfer it to this year. It could very well be. He could be even be more sought after because everybody's like salivating because he's such a good 3-point shooter. That's what I'm saying. Y'all need to understand this, y'all. Y'all need to understand the truth about Bargnani. That's right. Cool Cat saying it's shocking that Siakam and Van Vliet will be 10 years in the NBA next season. Longevity creeps up. Yeah, I don't know if that's shocking to me. I don't know. I don't know if that's shocking to me because they've done their time and they do feel like longtime vets to me. So 10 years in, and the same for Pirtle too. We got to remember he's in the same draft class. Well, DeLon Wright, 10 years in. Wow. Yeah, I guess time goes by and things happen. That's true. That's definitely true. Yeah, I it's interesting. People are seeing the excellence of OG in New York, the excellence of Fred in Houston, the excellence of Siakam in Indiana, and the greatness of Scotty Barnes developing in Toronto. And more people are coming out and saying that they realize the problem in Toronto with that team that when they were together was Nick. They're realizing, they're catching up to me finally. It's crazy. Like, seriously, I've seen this on social media just earlier that people are like, wait a second, OG's awesome. OG causes winning in New York. Like, he's had his 50th game in New York recently, and he's like 37-13, the record playing for the Knicks so far in his Knicks career. And then they're like seeing Fred in his winning bringing to Houston right now. And they see Siakam and how good he is and how he's one of the best players for Indiana right now. And they're like, what the fuck was wrong with the Raptors that had all those players? And people are starting to clue in that the problem was Nick Nurse. They really are. Some people, because you know why? Because they see what's happening in Philadelphia this year too. So yeah, we were ahead of the curve. We talked about this while it was happening in the last year of Nick Nurse on this team. And I wasn't giving him a pass. I knew he was the problem in that last year. And I was very, very emphatic about it. Everybody wanted to blame Fred. Everybody wanted to blame Siakam. But I stood fast and I say, no, listen, it's the coach's fault. And by the end of the year, yeah, it was very evident to me. And, well, other people catching up and finally realizing the Raptors Freak was right 2 years ago when he was talking about this. And he wasn't full of shit when he was saying the coach was pulling punches and not coaching the Raptors correctly, because he really wasn't. That last year he coached our team, he did not coach our team correctly on purpose so he could get fired and go coach the Sixers. So I'll say that over and over again. But finally, people are starting to understand what I was saying 2 years ago is actually true. It's actually true. Nameless is saying, yeah, you're most likely right. It was a weak-ass draft, which is why they got a pass. Yeah, I don't know. What do you mean got a pass? You mean that they got the draft pick? that we won the lottery because it was a weak ass year? I don't know. Either way, it's historic because in some ways we got to honor that this is the first ever guy that got drafted #1 by the Toronto Raptors. And in some ways, that is something to celebrate because that's an accolade and that's a part of our history. It's not something to put down. It's not something to like make fun of, as far as I'm concerned. You get licensed because you're an Italian guy. You want to make fun of another Italian guy? You go ahead, nameless. It's fine. It's just I get so sick of Raptors fans not remembering Bargnani correctly. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. Yeah. Let's see. Kareem saying, I share my love for Andrea every time Prima Pasta is on sale. All right. You're going to get there. You don't have much time. The clock is running out, but you're going to get there with this. All right. Let's see. Where are we with this? All right. Let's see. Where's Kareem? He's at 495. All right. You got it, man. You're at 500, my guy. You did it. You did it, Kareem. It's a Prima Pasta joke, and Kareem Thomas has got 500 dunks for the year of 2024. It's a Prima Pasta joke, of course. Every time Prima Pasta is on sale, I share my love for Andrea. I mean, why did he do that ad? I mean, in some ways, that's very stereotypical. It's like, who thought of to put him in this ad, and why did he say yes? I know he regrets it. To this day, he regrets doing the Prima Pasta. I know he does because so many people come up to him and say it to him. It's just like an actor when they do a really well-known movie scene and they have one line that they said in the line and everybody tries to come up to them in public and say it to them. It's the same damn shit. And I'm sure that this has haunted Andrea Bargnani forever doing that Prima Pasta commercial. Yeah. In some ways, he's a good sport about it. In some ways, he likes, you know who I am. That's great. You're a nice person. Not like, get away from you, kid. And why the fuck do you keep saying Prima Pasta at me? No, he's a good dude. And in some ways, it's like he could be embarrassed by it, but he owns it. And he's just like, you know what? Yeah, I did a Prima Pasta commercial. So what? Get over yourself. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. G's been saying, I've been watching the WNBA. They are terribly run. It's just true. They were not ready for the spotlight. Hopefully they fix some of the professionalism by the team, when our team comes. Yeah, I just worry about the people who are in power in the WNBA and like the head office and promotions and all that kind of stuff are not good at their job. It could very well be that they've just been around and kind of held power. And in some ways they kind of gotten comfortable, but they're not good at their job. And they need to be replaced with higher level people. Maybe they need to be paid better too, the people that are coming in, because it's going to be a totally different kind of show and it's going to be more important. Yeah, I would clean house, Kathy Engelbert, on most of the WNBA people. Maybe you need to be cleaned house on. Seriously, maybe there needs to be new leadership at the top, and they need to be able to take on the brand new spotlight they're getting and not drop the ball on it. This could be a real problem for them, that if they have very poor people running the league, they could fuck up the bump they're going to get right now in attention. So really, really think about this, Adam Silver and the WNBA people. You need to take this ball and run with it, not drop the ball and turn it over, because your personnel and the infrastructure of the WNBA are inept and don't know what they're doing. Seriously, I don't want to believe that, because in some ways the WNBA has been kind of hanging around since the 90s and really not paid attention that there's just people that have been there forever and they kind of are just jaded and they suck at their job because they've never been tested like this. And now all of a sudden the spotlight's coming and they're failing because they don't know what to do. I think this is the problem. They're not marketing their league right. That's for sure. And in some ways, they really dropped the ball with the Caitlin Clark phenomenon this year. Angel Reese also. So, yeah. Trevor's saying, prime example, all those top picks this year, Washington pick, they are not living up to be good players. Yes, exactly, Trevor. Alexander Sarr, Rizaker, these French guys, they're not Wembanyama. No, they're not. And that's just how it is. Not every year the draft is not going to be good every year. And last year was a bad year. But look at the Raptors. We got really good 5 rookies this year. Amazingly, in a horrible draft year. That's a testament to our front office right there, that we got 5 good rookies out of a horrible, horrible draft year. That's why I love our front office, and Masai Ujiri is a badass. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Totally right. Weak draft class this year, just like in 2006. With Andrea Bargnani. That's right. Kareem's saying, thank you, Trevor. Say it louder for the people in the back. There you go. Yeah, we'll give Trevor a dunk. Why not? Let's give Commissioner of Fun, Trevor J, a dunk. He's not always getting dunks. He's more known for layups and easy shots. but he's going to get a dunk today. Trevor J is getting his 263rd dunk today, a three-pointer for him. There you go, Trevor. There you go. Good stuff. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Nako's saying McCain comes back. Rookie of the year is his. Good handles and crafty score. Yeah, I don't know how long he's out. I'm not paying attention to them. I know Embiid came back yesterday, and the Sixers will beat the Hornets, so they're kind of pulling it out, getting out of the hole as far as like being around where we are. I hate this because I'm seeing teams like the Nets and the Sixers and the Bucks get out of the hole and get going, and we are not. We're still sitting in that 7-win hole, and I hate this so much. That's part of the reason why I was so angry yesterday, is because I really do want to get to I wanted to get to 10 wins by the end of the year, and that's not going to happen. It sucks. If we got 10 wins by New Year's Eve, I'd be so ecstatic because it shouldn't have happened. But if it does, I'll be like, yeah, woo, because I'd like to get 10 wins before 2025 comes. But there's not much time. It's December 21st, Raptors. You got to get there, man. You got to get there. Yeah, I'm not going to do propaganda to help Jared McCain, Gerald. No. He's not going to win the Rookie of the Year if he comes back from injury. No, somebody else will get more spotlight over the time, and they will win it. And I hope if it isn't, it could be Stephon Castle. I'm a Spurs fan. I'm not a Sixers fan. Fuck Jared McCain. He's not going to win Rookie of the Year. They was saying, la, 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 la. I knew exactly what he was doing right there. Because I do that all the time. That's my interlude like song. If I'm like, I got to go find a tab or something, go look up something on the internet, you'll hear me do that little tune on this show, which is like an old Italian song. I forget what the song is and what the lyrics are, but I like the tune of it. So I always do it when I'm kind of like, it's just to fill in the time while I'm not talking because I'm looking and stuff like that. Let's see. Cool Cat saying we are playing a lot of our rookies, so they have to cope with the NBA cycle, not experienced yet. Yeah, they're hitting rookie walls. I really do believe this. And Shed really looked like it. When you watch him on Jake's Take, the man's having a hard time keeping his eyes open. And you could tell he's very, very tired and worn out. Yeah, these 2 days off, these 2 days right now, before they play against Houston and Fred tomorrow, are absolutely essential. These guys, man, I felt bad for them, seriously, because I know that a lot of them are worn out. At least the guys who have played most of the games are. You know, I don't know. Scotty's sat a lot. Jakob's sitting right now. Emmanuel's been sitting. But I'm just saying, the guys who've been in the games a lot, you know, they're getting tired. And Shed's probably been healthy this whole time. And he's been going through it with preseason, the regular season, and the G League season. So he's getting a lot of work. He's getting a lot of minutes, and maybe more minutes than was forecasted originally going in the season because of the injuries. And that he's hitting that rookie wall right now. It's crazy. It's very crazy. Kareem saying, why was Bruce saying he was pretty much ready to go? It's almost been 3 weeks now. I feel like management is fucking with us. I know, and this is why I was cussing at them yesterday. It's like, why? Why do you tempt us? Why do you tell us? I mean, I was really hoping our team would be full squad by this time right now, that Emmanuel and Bruce would return. And Jakob and Scotty's injuries recently were not that major. They're going to be back, and we'll have the whole squad. Are you going to wait till 2025? Is that what you want to do, Masai? You going to wait till 2025 and debut the whole entire Raptors team and injury-free, and we'll finally be able to play with our full squad and see exactly who we are? Because, man, I'm getting sick of this. And I don't want to wallow in the bottom of the standings. I really do want to get up there higher. And some people say, why, Lex? We're already shitty. We should just stay shitty and stay down there. Stay down. Don't get up. Just stay down. Don't get up. You know, like in a fight. Just stay down. But I want to get up and fight. I want to keep fighting back. Come on. Let's do it. Let's get healthy. Let's get fighting back. That's what I want, man. I don't know if they're fucking with us, Kareem. It feels like it, doesn't it? It does feel like it. Blackhawks saying, true, Cool Cat. Isn't McCain done for the season? See, that's the thing I heard too, Gerald, is that's why he's fallen off the rookie rankings, is because they don't expect him back for this season. So I don't think he will be involved in the Rookie of the Year stuff at this point, because he's now going to miss majority of the season. So Mischief's here. Good to see the baseman. He is on vacation. That's right. He's saying this draft class looking bright. 6'6", 220-pound Dylan Harper, looking more NBA ready than his group. Igor Demim, Kasparas Ziaskousias are my top 3 draft picks. I love this. Always doing the early scout. Mischief, the base man. He's going to be bringing me scouts of the day. I know he is. All three of these names, we'll go look at them in January. Yeah, he'll bring them up. In fact, if you mischief, I know a lot of you guys like to bring me names to look at for the scout of the day, and we'll be resuming that in the 2025 part of the year. Yeah, I'll start scouting players for the draft at that time, and I'll do all three of those names. I like that those names sound European. I'm all about international, and if we can have more international flavor on our team, like a Bagnani and a Calderon, well, let's get the next one this year. And you're saying there's a couple guys that Kasparas sounds like a Lithuanian to me. Yeah, Lithuanian. That's right. Blackhawks saying we can get an NIG in the second round. We can get an NIG. What's an NIG? I don't even know what that means. Let's see. Nako's saying McCain can't win Rookie of the Year. Hasn't played enough games, but he might come back this season. Okay, so you think that he might heal up and come back. Interesting. Let's see. Blackhawks saying McCain is leading the rookies 3-point shooter board, but that won't be for long. I heard a stat. They were saying this in the broadcast that Jamison Battle is the best 3-point shooting rookie in the league, that he has the highest percentage as a 3-point shooting rookie. Now, McCain may have more 3-pointers, but I think Battle's got the best percentage of making threes, which is pretty cool. I like that being on our team. The highest percentage rookie 3-point shooter. That's cool. Smooth's here. Good to see Reggie. Andrea Bargnani was a good NBA player. It wasn't his fault. He was drafted first overall. That is a really good point by Smooth right there. In fact, I'm going to give him a dunk for a very good point, because this is something like, all right, the expectations go up so paramount on being the number one draft pick. And it's kind of crazy that, Bargnani said this, like he said this in the open gym. He said, when I was a kid growing up in Italy, I never, ever dreamed of being the number one pick in the NBA draft. That is something that just wasn't ever occurred to me until it actually happened. So that's the thing. Most American players, North American players, Canadian players, they may dream of being the number one pick in the draft because that's just part of their dreams. But Bargnani may have not even thought about coming to the NBA because he may not even thought that was possible. Seriously. So in some ways, that's crazy. So all of a sudden, you take that information that Bargnani never really occurred to him that he could ever be the number one pick in the draft. You could just see how blindsided he was with the responsibility and the whole onus of being the number one pick in an NBA draft. He wasn't totally ready for that pressure. He wasn't totally ready for all that. And that kind of was part of the whole weirdness about him in his rookie year. But you know what? Even though he thrived and he still got all rookie team and he did very good in his first rookie year. I mean, that's what I'm saying. He's not a bust. And this is so true what Smooth's saying here. It wasn't his fault that he got picked first. The Raptors did that, and they put a lot of more pressure on him as a player. It'd be different if he came in like the 15th pick or something like that. The spotlight's not on him like that. And then in some ways, some of the way you judge him isn't so like tainted by, oh, he's the absolute number one pick. It's like if you see him at like say you got drafted like Grady at number 13 in that draft, and he ended up having that career, everybody say he was a completely badass pick for us at number 13. Think about that. Seriously. Think about that. In some ways, that is so true what Reggie's saying. The pressure of being the number one pick is something that he never asked for. And that's something you got to remember. That's right. Most said, apparently in a recent interview, Jaren Jackson Jr. was asked about the Vancouver Grizzlies jerseys. I couldn't listen to it. Raptors have their best jerseys because it's the 30th anniversary for both teams. Some people are, they're bringing those out too. And when we go there on Boxing Day, I believe that both teams will be wearing the original franchise jerseys. Not the Raptors, though. They'll be wearing the purple front blackbacks. But I'm not totally sure, but the Grizzlies will be wearing them probably, because we got to remember Grizzlies versus Raptors is the Naismith Cup. Even if they're in Memphis now, they still kind of honor it as being the Canadian battle, the Canadian teams against each other. And that they're going to wear their original Grizzlies jerseys then. This is the thing. People love nostalgia. Monique, if there's anything we've learned from this year, the 30th anniversary of the Raptors, people love nostalgia. They love the old court, the old stuff coming back and getting retro and stuff. That's the same thing with Memphis. Now, I want to say this about the Grizzlies jerseys. They were very interesting because they incorporated Aboriginal stuff on them with the symbols and stuff like that. The color was weird. That was a weird kind of like sea green that wasn't really like, it wasn't the most appealing color, but it was very different. And it was very signature to them at that time for the time in the league. I think it's nostalgia. Of course, Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to come out and say that he thinks that the Grizzlies retro jersey is the greatest jersey of the retro jerseys. Of course, he's going to say that because that's his team. And I know you disagree with me. I know you think that our retro jerseys are the best retro jerseys. I agree with you. But yeah, I think that I think the Grizzlies' original jerseys were pretty cool, though, in a way, too. Like, I don't hate on them. And I like that they incorporated that side of British Columbia, the Aboriginal side, the people that were there before. And that's pretty cool to me. So I'm not going to hate on their jerseys. And of course, they're going to say that they think it's the best jersey. We're going to say ours are. That's for sure. Yeah. Not going to say, and I'm pretty sure OG is having his healthiest season. I don't know how we can gauge this, Gerald. I don't want to argue with you about this. But let's not even say this. I want to wish good things for OG. You say this, you might mess him up. Seriously, Gerald, let's not talk about OG and health because you know what? It could change real fast. And New York fans may be crying about this at some point. We got to remember, Gerald, that OG plays for Tom Thibodeau. And Tom Thibodeau, much like Nick Nurse, overplays his starters. And in specifically, he may overplay OG to the point where he runs the ground. So this is very likely. So I am glad that OG is healthy mostly this season, but don't think that he will stay this the whole way. I want him to, but trust me, the track record is that OG is going to be missing some period of time in the second half of the season. Just trust me on this, Joe. I don't have to be Nostradamus to be able to predict this. It's because of Thibodeau being his coach. Yeah, Smooth saying he didn't have it on defensive end, but he could fill it up. In today's game with the new rules, he's at 25 plus points per game. Yeah, I can get behind it. I mean, in some ways, the defensive liabilities would be covered up a lot more in today's game as far as the way it is, and it gets up and down the court, and his strengths would really be amplified. That's the other thing about it. So yeah, Reggie's exactly right, man. He sadly that he wasn't a very good defensive for the most part, but there were a period of time and a couple of years into his Raptors career, the Raptors really worked with him on defense during the summer, and his rebounding and defense did get better. One of the things was that he bulked up a bit. When Bargnani showed up, he was a beanpole, very, very skinny, not much muscle tone in his first couple years on the Raptors, but he hit the weight room and he got stronger over the years. And then like his third year, he actually had some good muscle on him and was able to muscle around with the other guys in the league a little bit better at that point. But yeah, in the beginning, he was pushed around a lot. He really, really was. I remember it. Nameless is saying, I forgot that red light, green light game even existed. Oh, I'm sorry for bringing that up. You remember Red Rover, send Jenny on over. Yeah, those games. Like there's all kinds of games. Like we talk about Capture the Flag. There's a real game called Capture the Flag where two sides have flags and you're trying to sneak around the woods and sneak into the other team's headquarters and steal the flag. Yeah, kids games, Yeah, red light, green light, green light. I'm going to say, I'm rewatching Squid Game. Red light, green light is fresh in my mind. Did they play that in that game? I haven't watched Squid Game, but I see that they're coming out with the second season on Netflix soon. Of course, they were at our game the other day, which was kind of creepy. I was like, is it Halloween? Why the hell are people coming in the game wearing Squid Game masks like they're PlayStation buttons? Like, that's such a weird show. In some ways, I don't want to watch Squid Game because in some ways, I know it's a dystopian, weird-ass game show where people get killed. And I don't want to see it because I know in the long run, maybe this is what the evolution of things like Survivor will get to. I really don't want to see the future where Squid Game is actually implemented in real life. The one thing I've realized about media and movies and TV is sometimes we can make the future with our creative minds. Simpsons phenomena of duplicating things ahead of time on their cartoon. There's a lot of different things like Idiocracy. The movie by Mike Judge, in some ways, it's very interesting movie. It's very deep, but in some ways, some of the stuff that happened in Idiocracy is actually happening now, and it scares the hell out of me. So in some ways, I don't want to watch Squid Game for this reason. I do not want to watch it because I don't want to lend credence to the possibility of it becoming reality in the future. Is that crazy that I'm saying that? No, because this world is crazy what's going on right now. No lie. Smith saying he was teamed with a loser and Chris Bosh. You can't blame him. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do something that I don't normally do. I'm gonna stand for Chris Bosh right now because in some ways, sure, he pissed me off. He went to South Beach. He won a couple of championships down there with LeBron. He was a franchise player for us that was absolutely important. But you're right, he was soft in some ways. In some ways, the combination of the two of them were soft, and they couldn't do anything, put up a fight in the low post on defense. And this is really the era of the Raptors that made me really value getting a true pivot like Jakob Poeltl that can absolutely protect the rim and do things physically. Is this period of time in the Raptors history? I'm gonna go way back as a Raptors freak and talk about this is when I really wanted a center. Is when we had Bosh and Bargnani. Now, they said Bargnani was a center, but he really wasn't. He played more like a small forward, honestly. And he'd be slotted at power forward too. And it was very ambiguous about whether Bosh or Bargnani was a center. But one of them had to be like the center duties, even though because they were the 4 and the 5, but really they were both 4s. It was such a tough time because we could not get any kind of good low post defense, and other teams ate and kicked the Raptors' ass, and it sucked. It sucked so bad. Chris Bosh, he gets a lot of grief and a lot of disrespect, rightfully so. But I'm gonna stand up for him and say, you know what? He was trying his ass off, and the time that he played for the Raptors, he really did put his effort in and tried to win for us. But it just wasn't. In some ways, I will blame Colangelo for pairing those two because they needed a real physical big man, one of those two slots. And that maybe that is why we should have taken LaMarcus Aldridge instead of Bargnani, because then you have two Texas guys run around the court, and one of them is a big muscly guy, one's a slender, like kind of finesse scorer, and then boom, maybe there's a better fit that way. So I will take that in some ways maybe Colangelo screwed up there, is that like you should have taken the big Texan guy and put him with Bosh, the other guy from Texas, and Aldridge. But, it is what it is. You can't go back and change it. And Colangelo did what he did. Nameless to say true, Smooth. Maybe I'm too hard on my fellow Paisano. I think you are, Nameless. In some ways, I wonder and worry about you, how you self-deprecate on your people, man. In some ways, you should be proud of your Italian heritage and not be like talking about how they're shady or all mafia or like, why would you pick an Italian guy at the number 1 pick? Come on, man. Have some Italian heritage pride. Come on, man. I used to live in Little Italy near College and Bathurst about 25 years ago. And it was such a fun community. I loved living in that neighborhood because I walk down the street and there'd be an old Italian guy standing on I lived on Palmerston Avenue, just so y'all know. And there'd be an old Italian guy standing out on his front porch, and his wife would be in the garden. He'd say, "Hey, what are you doing? Hey!" And she'd be like, "I'm doing this." And they'd be going back and forth and talking very loud. And I'd be like, "This is just a great neighborhood. This has just got ambiance." And it's just like very cool. In some ways, the feel of Little Italy over near College and Bathurst is so fun. I like that neighborhood. It was one of my favorite neighborhoods to live in when I lived downtown. I've lived in a lot of different neighborhoods around Toronto. And that was one of my favorite places to live in Toronto because it was always bustling and full of activity and personality. Yeah, yeah. So embrace your Italian roots, Nameless, and stop being all down on them. Seriously, be proud of your heritage. Come on now, guy. Come on now. And Smooth's laughing about that. Let's see. Let's see. Trevor saying the Sixers beat Charlotte Hornets because the good players was on the bench, not playing. You're talking about the Hornets. They didn't have their good players out there. So they did a favor for the Sixers, and the Sixers got another win finally. Embiid showed up. Yeah, it is what it is. I didn't watch any highlights. I can't comment on this too much. Fiercely saying good morning, fam, and happy Saturday. Good morning to you, MJ. Hope you're having a fantastic morning so far. We got a lot of snow here in Ontario. Hopefully the weather over near you in Ottawa is a little bit better. Here in central Ontario, lots of snow overnight here. I'm going to have to dust the truck off and get to the airport. That's the next step for me here. Yeah. Wayne saying, good morning, Raptor Freaks. Rookie Wall. Good point. However, I wonder if people not used to facilities like massages and pampering stuff work with people who never had company benefits to keep you whole. This is stuff I know that they utilize. I mean, this is part of the learning of being a rookie that they learn from people like Garrett Temple and Kelly Olynyk is, they call it game day where you're playing, and then there's recoup. And recoup is like, ice baths, back massages, all kinds of treatments. They had, some of these guys do really weird stuff to get their body right. And some of them have rituals. And you're right. In some ways, maybe Jamal Shed, when he was at Houston, didn't have the facilities or the abilities, the amenities that are offered by the Raptors, a top world-class NBA franchise. That is probably very different. In some ways, that probably helps them a lot. But that's something that Shed and Jacoby and Jonathan have to learn. That this, you have to take care of your body over the whole long grind. Maybe in college, when you're playing like 1 or 2 games a week and you have a lot of layoff time, you could be like eating bad and not taking care of yourself, staying out all night, doing different stuff, and still be able to play very well in your college games. But not in the NBA. In some ways, you really got to treat your body like a temple, Garrett Temple, and understand. Like, let's talk about this real quick. There's something on the Instagram stories. I'm going to talk about this real fast, y'all. First of all, Jamal McGlure saying, when I say be ready, I'm pulling up. You should be like this with the backpack on, right at the window of the door, looking out the window to walk out and get in the car. I agree with this. Especially if you have a set time and you're coming to pick somebody up. They should be out there ready to get picked up right at that time, because I'm that kind of guy. I'm on time. If you've noticed on this channel, I'm pretty much on time all the time at 9:30. And in some ways, you know what? If I'm driving somewhere to come pick you up and we say 2 o'clock, you better be ready at 2 o'clock, not be coming down at 2:15 is what I'm saying right now. There's Lloyd is walking around in downtown Toronto with the snow. There he is in the hallway somewhere here in Toronto because he is in town. This is what I want to talk about with Garrett Temple. Garrett Temple's saying this on his Instagram this morning. Unpopular truth. If you are ruining your health by eating toast, donuts, muffins, croissants, cereals, etc. in the mornings. You might be okay now, but it's only a matter of time. That's so interesting to me. That's what I'm saying. Garrett Temple understands nutrition, and he's saying the sugars and the yeast and the different things from these baked goods are not necessarily good for you in the morning. In fact, in some ways, fruit and meat are the best things for you to eat in the morning. As far as the fruit will get you going with digestion, and then the meat gives you protein to burn as you go into the day. So Garrett Temple is probably teaching this kind of stuff to youngsters like Jamal Shed, saying, you don't eat the croissant. Don't go to the hotel buffet and eat the croissant, Jamal. Don't do it. But that's what I'm saying. In some ways, that's why we need Garrett Temple around, because he's posting stuff like this on Instagram to tell these kids, don't eat your cereal, don't eat your muffins, and go get a breakfast with some protein, eggs, bacon, and get some, fruit on that plate too. That's the best breakfast you can have right there. Maybe some yogurt too. How about that? Yeah. Superfan Mo putting on blast that the Raptors have had at least one all-star selection in 9 out of the last 10 seasons. And she's encouraging y'all to go out and vote for Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett. Let's keep that tradition going. Thank you, Mo, for promoting the all-star voting so diligently so far. And let's get those Raptors fans out there voting every single day while they can, especially on double vote day. Y'all get out there and do it. Chris Boucher is officially in the part of the season where he is posting Dennis Rodman getting horizontal, going out of bounds to get that ball. And it may very well be that Chris posted that Dennis Rodman picture, which he's posted in the past. He's posted about 2 or 3 years now in a row. Is because of the save he made at the end of the end line in the game against the Nets on Thursday night. That save was really impressive, and he did kind of. But that's the thing. If Rodman's an inspiration for Boucher and the hustle play, hey, you got a great person to take after right there. And I love seeing Rodman on Chris Boucher's Instagram stories. It's always good. And then Duracell, Jay Uno, they're talking about Duracell charged up. Okay, then he's wearing a Hollywood. He's wearing the NWO Dennis Rodman T-shirt coming in the game. I love that, Chris. You really are showing that Rodman affinity. You got Rodzilla on your shirt, man. That's pretty cool. Dennis Rodman's cool, man. He really is. There's in the back at Slim Duck Foundation. Chris is smiling with Ephraim and his other friend. Wow, his other friend's really tall. I mean, Chris is almost 7 foot. His other friend is over 7 foot tall. I have no idea who that is. But something going on with Slim Duck Foundation as always. Yeah, and then let's see, Jamaican driving instructor saying, "Take off your seatbelt, man." What is going on here? This is confusing. It's one of these funny things. Oh, he's smoking weed and blowing it in his face as he's trying to teach him how to drive. That's pretty hilarious, man. Why'd you indicate for? He turned on the blinker, and the guy's like, "Why did you put the blinker on?" Okay, let's keep going. Jamal Shed has that fully charged. Okay, so he knows he was on Jake's Takes yesterday, and he looked really tired. Well, he's telling us all this morning that he's fully charged now. He got rested up. The Duracell is charged. That rookie wall may have been hit, but he's ready to go again. And that's the thing. You got to have recoup and rebounce back after games. You got to go through the rehab and the icing and the different things you got to do to take care of your body throughout the strenuous, long NBA season. And Jamal is learning those beats from the vets and the team as far as how to take care of his body correctly and what to eat. There you go. I love it. I love it. I love it. Also, Jamal is promoting a Lost Character pop-up hosted by M-Line, and this is in Houston, Texas today from 2 o'clock this afternoon till 6 p.m. If you're in Houston, go to Lux Life Boutique, 6200 Westheimer Road in Houston, Texas. Yeah, this I guess a friend is putting on some event in Houston, and Jamal wants to put it on blast with his NBA platform. So y'all make sure y'all stop by tomorrow and go tap in for real is what he's saying. There you go. The Toronto Tempo putting on blast the Bringing Home the W podcast on their Instagram with the interviews with Whitney and Teresa. Definitely check that out. And also put on blast that today is World Basketball Day. So we celebrate basketball by celebrating the number one pick international star, Andrea Bagnani. That's right. Scotty Barnes with a really cool post last night. Brothers. And it's a picture of him and Grady and Oshai and Jamal and Jonathan. And, you know, I guess having the youngest starting lineup ever in the game the other day. And Scotty is showing that his teammates are his brothers and they got each other's backs. And that's important. The unity of the Raptors is so important in a rebuild where there aren't a whole lot of W's coming. And that's the thing that Jamal reiterated also on Jake's Takes, that they are together. They really like each other as a team and that they are going to continue and they're on the same plan. And they get it, that this is a tough, arduous task to make a team rebuild into wins again and that they are up for it. He also let it be known that Bruce Brown is his vet. He said that my vet is Bruce Brown. He's my guy. He's the dude. You know how NBA players do this when they come in the league and they kind of designate my vet. This is my vet. This is my guy when I came in as a rookie and he really showed me the ropes. Well, Jamal's made it known that Bruce Brown is his vet, just so y'all know on Jake's Takes yesterday. Yeah, so good stuff there from Scotty. He's got some highlights from the Nets game. This is one where Jacoby throws it to him and he takes that deep three. He's right near the logo, and Clowney's coming at him, but he doesn't get it, and he swishes it through. It's a nice shot, Scott. I wish the last one you shot like that had gone in. I wish the last one had gone in. All right, let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, yeah, guys, there is a Raptors 905 game today. I got to remember this. At 5 o'clock, they're tipping off. I won't be able to watch the game because I'm going to be at the airport. So y'all will have to watch the game and I'll look at the box score and the highlight reel. But, yeah, I'm not going to be able to watch. This will be the first G League game I'll miss this year because I will be in flight and on my way when the game's on at 5 p.m. We're playing the San Diego Clippers. Just so y'all know, I should go get the refs real quick. Let me just tell you who the refs are. For the Raptors 905 at San Diego Clippers in Orlando, Benem Maru is the crew chief, number 45. Claire Aubrey, number 14, is the referee. And Kenneth Gardner, number 75, is the umpire. 5 o'clock tip, y'all. They may be a little late, like they were for the last game, because the game before went long, and they did start the game right at 3:30 on Thursday. They ended up starting it closer to 4 just because of, they're using the same courts. All the G League teams are playing in a row. So if there's delays or the other team, it goes into overtime or something like that. The top tip-off is supposed to be 5 o'clock today, but it may be a little bit later, just so y'all know. I hope y'all will be in there representing the RFF in my absence, since I won't be able to be there. So, yeah, check it out. It's San Diego Clippers. Should I go look at the Clippers team? I should have done a scout on this already. I'm going to go look at them real quick and just look and see what their team looks like this year, if there's any standout names on this team right now. Let's see. Of course, this is Steve Ballmer's team, his G League team. Let's see what the names on the list are right now. Let's see if I recognize it. Cam Christie. Okay, that's one of the Christie brothers. Nate Darling, Canadian Nate Darling, will be playing against us today. You guys know Nate Darling. He's in the Team Canada program at some level. So he'll be there for the Clippers against us. Let's see, who else? Is there any other names? Kai Jones, guys. Kai Jones, of course, the former Charlotte Hornet that had mental problems a couple years ago, has landed on his feet in the Clippers organization. He is on their G League team also. Let's see. I think that's it. Those are really the three names that I recognize. Kai Jones, Nate Darling, and Cam Christie. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what their record is like. What have they been doing? Like they may not be that good. We'll have to see. Anyway, yeah, Clippers versus Raptors 905, 5 p.m. tip off. So be ready for that. Back to the Instagram stories real quick. Gaga, Darko's wife, is doing a book drive, guys, and they want y'all to drop off books at Scotiabank Arena or the Paramount Fine Food Center at the games on the 22nd and the 27th. So tomorrow, if you're going to the game for the Houston Rockets, you bring some books down to the arena. You can give them to the Gaga's Drive, Season of Giving, because they are books for the Sick Kids Hospital. That they want to give books to the kids that are in the Sick Kids Hospital. So it's a great cause. If you're going to go to the Rockets game tomorrow, bring a book. Or if you're going to go to the 905 game on the 27th, bring a book. Or at the Raptors game on the 27th also, after Christmas. I believe that's the Atlanta game. So if you're going to any of those games, bring books and be a part of Darko's wife's book drive that she's doing right now. It's fantastic stuff. Let's see. And also Kelly Olynyk is celebrating. Somebody got in the Hall of Fame. Who is that? I don't even know who's that. They're a Hall of Fame nominee. Who is that? I don't know who that guy is. It's probably a guy from Gonzaga. It is a guy from Gonzaga. I guess it's a Gonzaga coach, is a Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame nominee. There you go. There's Grady with highlights of him making that alley-oop, that dunk, put-back dunk. Honestly, when Grady made that dunk, that put-back dunk, that shocked me because that is such great athleticism and timing for him to come and get that rebound and throw it back like that. That may have been one of the most impressive things Grady's done in his Raptors career so far to me, honestly, because I didn't know he had hops like that. I can see him dunking, but him getting up and getting high enough to come up and bring it down like that, that was an amazing putback dunk by Grady in the last game. Seriously, guys. So, yeah, really proud of you, Grady. You keep getting better and better. Jamal was talking about this on Jake's Takes yesterday. The Grady Digg works so hard this whole entire summer that he's seen the work and that, he's a totally different player from last year because of that. And he's a great example for the other guys on how to improve yourself because of how much he's improved so much since he got drafted by the Raptors. So it's been a home run since Masai and Bobby selected Grady Dick, the number 13th pick in last year's draft. He has just come up and up and up with better and better and better. And he's really developed quickly. It's so fast in his career, and it's awesome. I love it. And there's Jacoby. He's got, I guess it's a family member. They're in the window or in the mirror. They're saying the kids are always watching. He insisted on a Wubbs ponytail for school, and he's been proudly rocking it. I'm so grateful to be in a space with solid role models for them boys. There you go. Okay, so there's a friend of Jacoby's who has a child, and they told their mom that they wanted to do their hair up like Jacoby for school, and that he's a role model to this kid. That's fantastic. I love that. Jacoby is a great role model from what I can tell, as far as he's a man of God and a kid that's doing things the right way so far as a rookie in the NBA. There's your Instagram stories real quick. I really wanted to go there because Garrett Temple's telling people not to eat baked goods for breakfast. And that's what I'm saying. That's the whole point is these rookies have a learning curve of the NBA lifestyle, the ups and downs, the on and off of the game night and the recoup day, and the travel, learning how the travel is and all the different ins and outs of going around and, what you should and shouldn't do, and what you should look out for and what you should do to take care of yourself. It's just an important part of learning. That's right. It's an important part of learning. That's right. Let's see. Trevor's saying, Lex, are you traveling to the city, Dirty South? I have to come to Atlanta too. So if you're there, we can hook up. Yes, I will be going to Atlanta today. I will be there till Boxing Day. I will be very busy because I will be with my family, probably spending a lot of that time. But I mean, Trevor, if there is some will or way, you can message me on Facebook and we can try and make it work. I would say this. I'll be staying over near Emory because that's where my brother lives. And my parents live downtown in a condo right down near 5 Points, like right in the middle of Atlanta. So that's kind of where I'm going to be, is right in downtown Atlanta. So if you're around that area and it works and it can be done feasibly without taking away from planned events that I already have with my family, I would definitely love to meet you, man. I would definitely love to meet you. We'll figure this out in personal messages in the next couple of days. How about that? Kareem's saying it might be better for me to meet you in the next day or so, though. I don't know when you're going to be in Atlanta exactly, but it might be easier for me on Sunday or Monday than like obviously Christmas days, and I am leaving on Boxing Day, so I'm not going to be there much longer after Christmas. So, Kareem saying the only player I want is Common from Duke, 7'2" center who weighs 250 pounds, but we will practice this exercise in the new year. Yeah, you guys are excited. I get it. We're having a losing season. In some ways, the draft is maybe the shiny, bright future we got to look forward to right now. And yeah, I get it. You guys are anxious to do this. Well, the calendar will turn very soon, and we will do this in the new year. That's right. That's right. Nako saying Cooper Flag, Common Mullock, and Ace Bailey excite me the most right now. There you go, Gerald. He's got his diaper dandies, his Nako the Nachos. I wanted to make a because Gerald, you're very up on this stuff too, just like Mischief, and I appreciate both you guys for this. The Gerald always has scouting done too, so it's like we could call them not diaper dandies like Dick Vitale had. But we'll call them the Naco's Nachos. What are your Naco's Nachos this year, Naco? That might work. Blackhawks saying Battle is the best undrafted rookie three-point shooter. Percentage has to be weighed against temps to have meaning. Yeah, 50. Yeah, no, he's been fantastic. And that is very true, that he is the best three-point shooter percentage-wise in the rookie class right now. Yeah, Mischief saying Common is my favorite center in this draft at Kareem Thomas. There you go. We're getting a lot of endorsements for the Duke center from Gerald, Kareem, and Jay right now. Very, very interesting. We're definitely going to have to look at him. I like the size, 7'2", 250. That sounds really good to me. Let's see. Wayne saying another factor is diet. Are rookies given dietary advice and restrictions? Best coaches in sports direct players' diets because significant increase in income means more access to crap. Yeah, we know this firsthand, kind of from Scotty, honestly. Scotty's rookie year, he played, and then in the summer, we watched him on Twitch eat a whole bunch of bullshit on his channel. I'm not gonna lie, when Scotty was eating on Twitch, I was like, what the fuck are you eating, Scott? You're in the NBA. You can't be putting this garbage in you because you are what you eat. This man would be getting Chick-fil-A, DoorDash to him. He'd be eating a whole bunch of nuggets. He'd open up bags of chips and just eat the whole chips. I mean, I don't want to judge him. He's a young man. He wants to eat junk food. Sometimes he wants to eat junk food. But something changed. And honestly, Scotty's body changed when this happened. You know, maybe people saw what he was doing on Twitch, and they're like, man, you're on Twitch too much. You're eating junk on Twitch. And people criticized him, and he may have heard it. And he's like, oh, shit, maybe I shouldn't be on Twitch so much. Maybe I shouldn't be eating such junk food all the time. And he changed, and his body changed. You can tell when somebody's eating more healthy. There's a certain glow to your skin when you're not putting in all the chemicals and preservatives that are made in a lot of manufactured food that's in the grocery stores today. If you're eating clean, your body will have a glow to it, and you'll look healthier. And Scotty's body changed from his rookie year, and he became a little bit more defined with muscle and less baby fat. That was part of the change right there. So, yes, we have this. I know we have this, Blackhawk. I mean, Wayne. I know we have this, Wayne, because there's a chef at OVO that cooks food that has all of this in mind for the players. And as part of their regiment for them to go down to OVO and do practices regularly, they can come in and eat whenever they want to. And the thing is, the chef will make them whatever they want to order, but it has to be in the healthy kind of stuff. So they very much do have a nutritionist who is giving them food on that site at OVO Center that is absolutely top-notch. We've seen this guy on Open Gym and talking about it. And he had a little section. He's like, yeah, the players need to eat this and this to keep their body right. And it's my job to make sure they have good nutrition. So that's the thing. Some of the players, when they're on their own at home or they're at restaurants, sure, they may eat in weird places sometimes, and they may have cheat meals and stuff like that, and that's fine. I mean, I've seen Dennis talk about on his channel, Dennis Schroeder, that he was in the off season last summer, and he was like, I'm in the off season now. I can eat sugar again all of a sudden, and he indulged his his sweet tooth, but he wouldn't do it during the season because he's a professional, and he's like, I don't do this now. But now I can do this. I can have a little bit of a cheat now. And that was on his YouTube channel. We saw that. So they're very conscious of this more than ever. And we got to remember, we come a long way in the NBA because in the 80s, Charles Barkley's eating all kinds of fat Whoppers and burgers and pizza and just really junk food and drinking a lot of beer. And that's part of the reason why Charles Barkley looked like how Charles Barkley looked. I'm just saying. So sports science with nutrition is very much utilized, and it's necessary to compete at the highest level in the NBA at this point. So yes, we have people taking care of this for sure. for sure in our franchise. And I know for a fact that Scotty made dietary changes in his life after his rookie year. Totally did. Totally did. Blackhawks saying 50% has different weight when you have 2, 4, 6, 10, 12 attempts per game. This season, Battle has made around 35 threes, while McCain has made 51 threes. Who do you prefer more? Well, it's volume for McCain because he's had more higher usage. He's started, and there's been times where the Sixers have been hurt, and he is the number one option on the court. There's never been a time where Jamison Battle has been the number one option on the court with the Raptors. That's just the damn truth. And I don't even think on the 905 either. So, Nako saying, I'm the last person who wants to mess OG up. Got him on my fantasy, so I'm hoping. So you're keeping tabs on this because you have a vested interest with your Team Canada team. I get it, Gerald. I just, with OG, he has such a history with us with injuries that I'm touchy about it. And in some ways, it kind of insulted me that you're saying OG's having his most healthy season in his first year on a full season on the Knicks. That's annoying to me. And in some ways, it's like, why couldn't he be healthy all the years he was in Toronto? So in some ways, I'm a hater like that. I'm like, yeah, if he's going to be hurt in Toronto, well, he better be hurt in New York at times to time too, because that's what the pattern has been his whole career. And I mean, listen, OG and injuries it's kind of a tired joke with some Raptors fans around things. Oh, OG's injured again. Oh my gosh. He's had bad luck with injuries. No lie. He really, really has. And I do wish him health, but in some ways also I'm a hater as a Raptors fan saying, well, if he was hurt all the time with the Raptors, he better be hurt with the Knicks too. Is what I'm saying. That's a hater in me right there. Monique is saying W stream, W vibes. Go Raptors, go for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Raptor Free Cruise, strong forever. Safe travels to Atlanta. Thank you, Mo. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not excited about going to the airport, but I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to try and enjoy things. The one thing I'm telling myself is it just got really cold here in Ontario right now. It's like minus 11 outside. And I'm escaping it. And there's going to be really cold days both tomorrow and Monday. And I will be in Atlanta. But apparently, it's going to be freezing cold down there, too. So it's like it's cold everywhere. But it's especially getting cold here as of today. It's actually really cold right now. And tomorrow will be even colder from what I hear on the weather report. So I'm escaping the cold. I'll take that as one of the bonuses of going on this trip. Blackhawks saying Newell and Queen have an edge on Common. Common is younger, I believe. Okay, these are names I don't know yet, but I will get to know these names by very, very soon. Nako saying, Lex, you like things that critique capitalism. I think there's stuff you'd like in it. You're talking about Squid Game? Yeah, I probably would really like it, but like I said, in some ways, I'm so scared of dystopia taking over our real world that any kind of media that's dystopian like narratives, I'm like, let's not watch this. Like Hunger Games is similar, right? Hunger Games, the franchise is like very stark and scary because in some ways, you know what? Honestly, there could be something like Hunger Games at some point where there's districts and there's a very like upper class that is like really highfalutin and gross, and then there's a whole bunch of people that are just like the people in Hunger Games, the common masses. That's scary because seriously, the way that the world's going right now is going towards something like Hunger Games. Seriously, where people are going to have to do crazy things to try and feed themselves because we have a very psychopathic billionaire class that's hoarding all the wealth. And meanwhile, children are going to starve and they don't give a shit. That's the craziest thing. It could be very much like that. So Squid Game, I don't even know if I want to enter that world and let it be in my brain because I don't want it to ever become anywhere near what reality becomes down the road. Does that make sense? I totally would probably enjoy it. You're right. Especially with what you just said. Nako saying Derek Queen is a little smaller and older than Common. I don't like him as much as Common, but he's a pretty smooth offensive player. I commend you, Gerald, as a basketball fan, getting so into college and being up to date on this kind of stuff. I really do. I've known Gerald for a long time, guys. I've known him for almost 10 years now. And, he wasn't a basketball fan when I first met him. And he's really, really blossomed into a major, major basketball fan. And I really appreciate it, Gerald. It's so awesome to have a friend from another world like you be in this basketball world with me now. I really do appreciate you, man. And I'm going to give you a big time dunk. You really come a long way with like your knowledge and knowing what you know, man. Seriously. Because I can remember when we were doing the writing meetings and you talk Raptors with me and I was like, Gerald, you keep going, keep watching. And you really have been. And you have a much more knowledge of college at this point than I do. That's for sure. That's for sure. Reggie saying it's really emotional because it feels like the Christopher Reeve version. The music harkens back to that time. What are you talking about? You talking about Superman? Well, I don't know. There's a new Superman coming out. I know that. All right, Trevor's told me to do the classic card. I've refilled the classic card. It was getting a little empty, and I'm going on this trip, so I wanted a couple cards to get from. So I'm going to go ahead and do the classic card right now. We're at 10:57. All right, let's get a classic one. I want a classic one. Oh, yeah, this is great. This is a good one. All right, guys, classic card of the day. Whoever writes in the full name answer gets the Raptor Freak trivia points for today. Who is this? This one, this is interesting. Maybe y'all will know who this is easy. Maybe not. It's kind of interesting. The number for me gives it away because I was very much watching the NBA very closely at this time. And this player, I knew this guy because, well, there's certain reasons. We'll see if you guys can figure this out. He kind of looks like Coloco, doesn't he, guys? Doesn't he look like Coloco? That's not Coloco. We know that, right? But this is a dude who looks almost exactly like Christian Coloco in the face. So let's see if y'all know who this is. And maybe you might get it wrong at first, but maybe you'll get it right after you get it wrong, because it is somebody that's it's interesting. It's an interesting one. There you go. Smooth got it. It is Harvey Grant. It's the twin brother of Horace. Horace Grant, of course, was very famous on the Bulls, playing with Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan, winning championships, and wore 54. Well, Harvey is his twin brother, and he played for the Bullets at that time, and he wore 44. So yeah, Harvey Grant, the classic card of the day, one of the twins in the team in the NBA, the Champagnes and the Van Arsdales, and all the other twins in the history, the Grant twins. And Harvey was the lesser known Grant twin. And he takes a little bit after Coloco. Of course, he's smaller than Coloco. But yeah, he kind of looks like Coloco there. I think that's fair, right? All right, so Smooth, king of the classic card, cleaning up once again today. Let's add it to the mix. Write it in. Harvey Grant. Wait, why did you misspell that? Here we go. Harvey Grant, and it's Smooth once again. It'll be 150 because it's classic, so there's some skill to it. There's some skill to it for sure. All right, let's see. Smooth saying also, although I was a really big fan of Henry Cavill and his dark version of the hero, James Gunn is directing this new movie. Okay, so you are talking about Superman. Yeah, I know there's ads and there's a new movie coming out. I heard that maybe the dog is in this one. Crypto. That's interesting to me. They put that character from the Superman canon in this movie. That the dog Crypto, the super dog, will be in this one. I think. I don't know. I'm not really big on superhero movies, guys. I like the comic books. I like video games. Like I'm playing Marvel Snap right now, and it's such a fun little quick game of strategy. It's kind of like chess. If y'all want to play a fun game, get on Steam and play Marvel Snap. Seriously, check that out. But I'm not really big on the movies. I'm not a Marvel fan where I watch all the Marvel movies, and I really don't watch the DC ones. Like Aquaman and Batman and all the stuff they've done in the recent years, Wonder Woman. I haven't watched any of those movies. So it's not really an area of expertise for me in this media field is movies. I'm just not watching superhero stuff. There's just so much. Like I watched the early stuff with X-Men when it came out, but then after X-Men's success, they just came out with so many superhero movies. I just got turned off from it. And the Marvel universe is so crazy with how they put out movies and how they all interlock. I just can't get into being a Marvel nerd and keeping track of it all. The Easter eggs and the timelines, and well, Logan is here in this movie at this part, and then he's in this part, Wolverine. And it's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. It's too much. I have so much going on with the Raptors in my head. I cannot keep track of the Marvel universe, let alone the DC universe. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Trevor's saying, yes, Kareem, good choice. He's a good 7-2. 7-2. There you go. Kareem saying, Raptors 905. I'm sorry. That's the comment. I really have nothing to say about these guys. All right, we know none of the J rookies are there. Shamshay and AJ Lawson are there. Hopefully, they can put on a better performance than they did on Thursday and actually win today against San Diego. That would be awesome. I want to see more from Frank Kaminsky. Hopefully, they had a good practice yesterday, and he's integrated with the 905 guys so that he knows what he's doing with them a little bit better than on Thursday. Because honestly, there's a lot of fruit to be born from the tree that is called Frank Kaminsky as far as three-pointers and block shots and rebounding. So hopefully Frank Kaminsky can come correct today and look like he's a part of the team, because on Thursday he didn't look like he was connected to the players yet, that he was just fresh off of showing up and he had not figured out his teammates were yet. So hopefully they've gotten a little bit closer in one game down in a practice, and Kaminsky can look like he belongs a little bit better. That's what I want to see right there. Yeah. Most saying, Selects, you were right. Temple family are expecting another baby just by posting pictures on IG. Congrats. Yeah, there was a sign of this the other day, and me following the Instagram stories, this is kind of how I keep tabs on this kind of stuff. There was a real nod, and I think it was his wife that let the cat out of the bag as far as the baby news. And yeah, that's fantastic. They will have 3 children. They already have the son and the daughter. And well, who knows what the third child will be? We'll have to find out down the road. But yeah, congratulations, Garrett Temple, on expanding your family and having another child on the way. That's fantastic. Nako's saying 80% clean foods and 20% processed is the way to go. Also getting in your body weight and protein. That's interesting. You know, I'll tell you what I've been doing that's been super successful, Gerald, because I've very drastically modified my diet in the last 4 years, is no processed, zero processed foods as much as possible. And that may sound, what? How do you do that, Lex? Well, basically, I'm really using the rule that people have said before. If you go to the grocery store, don't buy things that your grandma wouldn't recognize. That's what I'm saying. You know, if it's an apple, it's an apple. Your grandma would recognize it. But if it's some sort of crazy ass Pop-Tart with blueberry stars and all kinds of stuff like that, is manufactured chemical food made by a big corporation that is not nutritiously good for you. In some ways, you know, we got to think about this, Gerald. Corporations are cutting corners every which way to make profits. And in some ways, you know, the FDA may be in trouble with gutting of regulations by the new administration coming in. The food may become more and more unsafe because they don't have the protections for the public that have been there for a while. You know, in some ways, I would tell the people that are in the FDA to start having tougher standards about what the fuck did they allow to be sold in grocery stores. There's some crazy food items that I'm just like, yeah, this isn't food. This is stuff that's made in a chemical lab that's absolutely bad for you. So I don't know. If you're talking about processed food as far as like bread, because that's something you process to make from wheat in the old school agrarian way, that's okay. But if you're talking about food that's manufactured by one of the main corporate food manufacturers that is just junk, and you know the type of food I'm talking about, that's the problem. So it really is about fruits, vegetables, and meats. And I don't even eat dairy, so I don't do cheese. I don't do any cheese or dairy. So I eat a lot of protein from meats, and then the fruits and vegetables are the other stuff. But in some ways, it's like, where do you get your grains, Lex? Well, maybe that is a little bit where I get into the processed stuff and something like I may eat a Nature's Valley peanut butter bar in the morning. I know that's not very good because there's sugar in it, but at least there's peanut butter. There's peanuts and peanut butter in it. So that, you know, you got to make your trade-offs. But as long as everybody's making more conscious health decisions with what they put in their body, they should be seeing increased vitality and feeling better. That's the thing. You'd be shocked if you cut out McDonald's from your life, just how much you feel better. Seriously, it's so crazy. And then when you go back and you do eat something like fast food after not eating it for so long, you realize just how much it hurts you because you feel the heaviness hitting you when you haven't had it in a long time. So yeah, it's good advice, Gerald. Put it on the food stuff here. Trevor's saying, I would not work. It would not work. I will be there Boxing Day, spending Christmas in New York, then flying Boxing Day to Atlanta. Yeah, I guess we're just going to miss each other because I'm going to get on a plane on Boxing Day and try and be home in time to watch the Memphis Grizzlies play the Raptors on Boxing Day night. I'm a little worried about that. If there's no flight delays, I should be fine. But I'm really cutting it close. And I do want to be back here in time to watch the Grizzlies game on Boxing Day night. So I will be trying to get there. And, of course, traveling on Boxing Day in the airports. Whoa. Hopefully it'll be easy. But that's one of the busiest travel days of the year. Seriously. Most saying Raptors official chef is Ryan Gallagher. That's the guy I seen on the Open Gym episode talking about nutrition and talking about the buffet and the food he puts out at the OVO Center. And the players come in from practice or anytime, he can make them food. And they can ask him for special requests. And he'll do it for him. Yeah, he'll do it for them. So, yeah, that's fantastic. It's a really great facility. You know, right near there is also the ice baths and all the other stuff they do to help their muscles and their soreness and be ready for the next game. And that's good stuff right there. Yeah. It's Carlos saying safe travels, Lex. I appreciate that, Kaloy. Thank you so much. Trevor's saying, y'all check out Sweetwater. Check out Sweetwater. What, Sweetwater, Texas? The home of Barry Windham? Sweetwater, Texas, or is that a drink? I don't know. Let's see. Wayne saying, read labels. Can you pronounce the ingredient? Can you buy that ingredient individually? Is it available to average consumers? If not, it should not be in your food. Yes, and yes. The other aspect of, all right, buying fruits and vegetables is organic. And it's funny. I've seen a lot of memes recently where there's aliens laughing at humans because it's like they have to pay extra to get food that's not poisoned. That's the thing. True. Modern agriculture and the mass scale makes food with so much pesticides and chemicals, and it's not made the right way. So, you know, it may have been a joke maybe 10 years ago when somebody said, oh, you're buying organic. Who cares? You're just paying extra for a label. No, not at this point. If you're buying organic, it's actually really smart. It may be a little bit more, but you really are avoiding some of the residue and extra stuff that's put on modern corporate crops that are mass grown. They have to make money, so they do all kinds of cost cutting, and it's not necessarily good for the nutrition of the actual fruit or vegetable that they're growing. You know, so in some ways, buying organic is smart. If you in the future, we don't know how much the poisons and stuff that's on food will matter even more and more. So, you know, the other thing that people don't realize is a lot of modern health problems are derived from what we eat, as far as cancer, as far as like different things, like you may get some sort of weird like gluten intolerance or different things like that. A lot of that stuff is from the very bad stuff we've eaten as children and growing up to the point where we are at now. So just so y'all know. So yeah, Wayne, exactly right. Read the label. And if it's a lot of chemical kind of sounding things, don't buy it because it's manufactured in a lab and it's probably not good for you. It's probably not good for you. They don't care about nutrition, the people that are making food. They care about profits. They care about selling things. And in fact, they'll be nefarious about it. They'll make you get hooked on sugar to get on a product so that you'll buy it over and over again. And that's what you got to understand. Some of that food is addictive on purpose so that you will buy it. And also the way grocery stores are set up with impulse buys near you, they will put food that is bad for you right at the checkout line. And then you'll be like, oh, I do want these Mentos or these Jelly Bellies. I'm like, oh, they're right here. I'm just going to get them. That's what I'm saying. So be smart in what you eat. It is so true. You are what you eat. You literally put the molecules in your body breaks it down, and it becomes you. It's exactly right. Yeah. Trevor's saying it's a TV series, Sweetwater. Okay. I thought it was a beer. I was thinking it was like either a beer or a beverage or something. You guys should get Sweetwater and drink some Sweetwater. Is that some moonshine from West Virginia hills? Sweetwater. That's funny. All right. I'm over 2 hours. I better finish up, guys. We were celebrating and sharing the love for Andrea Bargnani. I think I did a very good job making the case for Bargnani and why he is not a blemish on the record of the Raptors 30 years. It's actually a very, very important part of our history as far as the only first pick we've ever had in our history. And we should be proud of that. We shouldn't be dumping on it, y'all. We're Raptors fans. We're not Raptors haters. So why do y'all hate on Andrea Bargnani? You have no reason to do that. Seriously. There's no birthdays today. I'm sorry, guys. Happy birthday to World Basketball Day. That's right. That's what the day is today. All right, guys, let me get out of here. I got to get on a plane, get the hell out of this country for right now, and go see my family for Christmas. I appreciate everybody for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, join, all that different stuff. There's different things you can do on this channel. And I appreciate everybody for putting up with me being ornery Lex, being 100% just me. It's not a flavor for everybody. I know that. All right. I'll be back tomorrow to preview the Houston game in the morning in Atlanta. You'll see me down south, and it'll be a weird thing. I don't know if I'm going to bring the mic. I don't want to travel with it. And they may be like, if I put the mic in the bag, they may be like, why do you have electronic equipment in your bag? And then it may get more like scrutiny. So I'm going to be doing my streams without the microphone for a couple of days, guys, while I'm down south, just so y'all know. So the audio may be a little bit different because I'm going back to the old just being on my computer. And it's really just because I don't want to travel with the big box with all the microphone and the headphones and stuff like that. So, yeah, it'll be like that. Wayne's saying, I look at the royal family in England. They eat multiple courses, but it's 100% pure. No fat people there. Yeah, but I don't know. The royal family in England, their food is so horrible. Like English food is bad, man. Seriously, it's not like very tasty. And they do have a lot of weird stuff that's not totally healthy and stuff. I would say this also. I don't think the royal family looks that healthy, honestly. If you look at them, they kind of don't look totally healthy in some ways. Like, seriously. I know that they're not fat, like you're saying, but who knows? Maybe they look weird because of other things, and that's why maybe the inbreeding of royal blood. That may be why they look weird. I don't know. They look weird to me. Trevor's saying, and $1 Million Hassa with Samuel L. Jackson on Peacock. Okay, we're getting a lot of TV recommendations today. Sweetwater and Squid Game. And yeah, the Superman movie. Everybody's got media that everybody is promoting and saying, what's up? We'll watch this. All right. We have to check it out. I say check out Bringing Home the W, the latest podcast with Teresa Resch on the WNBA process, and also Jake's Takes. The interview with Jamal Shed is a must watch for any Raptor fan right now. You got to see how good Jake is at his interviews, and Jamal Shed just comes clean, and he just is an awesome guy, even if he was absolutely exhausted in that interview. Very, very exhausted. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go 905. Beat the San Diego Clippers today, and let's go tempo. I can't wait for y'all to show up. I'm excited for the WNBA in Toronto. It's going to be coming. And Team Canada, all on good things in basketball world for Team Canada on the rise. I love that Jordy said he wants to be back and coach Team Canada again. And hopefully that is what will happen because he's been a fantastic coach for our national team. All right, let's go Raptors.